Welcome to Wiretap Truce. My name is Jesse Perez. I'm here with Mr. Wiretap Truce Leland and Mr. Jack Simmons, our resident comedian. On I rented a studio, but the other guys couldn't make it out here, so I'm the only one that maybe next time we could
Home
but
alone.
yeah,
Got the studio to yourself.
rest in peace to Isaiah Whitlock Jr. So when you guys see this, I don't know
Jeez.
what order you're gonna get this in, but we're shooting it the most recent episode after he passed. So this is where we're doing the rest in peace. I find it funny. Sometimes we're like talking about one thing, and then on the other video is like two videos behind.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're like we're current news. We're like
we're a mess.
we're like 3 episodes. We're mentioning stuff like 3 episodes behind. Like, I mean for the Wiretap Truth podcast, it's like it's just
Oh
funny.
yeah,
Like we'll talk about like a recent passing, and that'll happen like a month and a half later. The video
oh
will be
yeah.
like a month, and then but
This gets
that's
pretty schizophrenic at times.
yeah. So we're but so the one we're shooting now, the day we're shooting, is the most recent episode after Mr. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. passed, and just send a rest in peace to him. We're going to do a tribute episode to him. Maybe you'll see that before you see this. Who knows?
Who
And then
knows?
who knows? But shout out to all the pieces matter Facebook group. Um, at Ziggy underscore Duck. Kurt, man, we appreciate you, brother. Uh,
Always, always, always.
Miss Donna
Or-
Adrian Gibson. And, I was telling the guys, I'm like, I was looking at our popular videos, and the top two is Julito and our season one finale recap, which you guys seem to like. Like the numbers keep going up on that one. So, maybe we did that recap good. Maybe that's a, a finale that stood out to you guys. So, leave your feedback. We can't if you guys want us to work on anything, man, we can't know without the comments. Leave the comments, man. And then or if you like and you show appreciation, leave the comments, show us love, like and subscribe. Um with that being said, we're getting into season 2, episode 7. We were gonna do the full We Own the City, but with James Ransone's recent passing, it brought our hearts back into season 2 and wanted to get back in the gist of it and the essence of the show. I said when I saw this episode, I got a little teary eyed when I saw James Ransone.
No, it was
Same.
rough.
Um,
It was rough. It was rough.
right?
The thing is, like, We Own the City is like a really good show. Like, it's very quality, well made. But man, like going back from that to The Wire, it's just like it shows
Oh,
The Wire is in a league of their own,
I,
and it's like
Hey,
it
I feel
doesn't
the
even
same
bro,
way.
compare.
I feel
bro,
it. That's why I feel like
I'm sitting here writing stuff and I'm taking my notes on this episode. I'm like, man, this shit is so multi-layered. Like it's like, bro, we know I love We Own This City. Like, let me
Yeah,
just
I actually
say
was
that.
thinking that. I'm like, I
You
don't know
know,
how Leland loves We Own the City as much as he does We Own with The Wire, because I
no,
cannot,
I
man.
think you know what, Jesse. I think you're thinking, and that I think you're thinking of a post that I made that was like, "This hits harder than The Wire." That was rage bait. That's all
yeah.
that was. That wasn't. That was not my true feelings. That was a rage bait little tagline. I don't care
Well
what show
played.
comes out ever. I'll never put anything above The Wire. Like it don't matter if David Simon, Ed Burns all do it again. It will never. Nothing will ever eclipse The Wire. That was a
So,
rage bait post for sure.
so it's funny because I think it's I think Ed Burns and David Simon together is what makes the
The
like
magic.
the magic. Because I think also like people say that season 5 wasn't the best of the other seasons, and if I'm not mistaken, Ed Burns took a little bit
Mm.
of more of a backseat to season 5, which I
It's like
find
when
funny.
Larry David left Seinfeld at the end of season 5, and you
Yeah,
notice
yeah,
like the
yeah,
quality of the writing didn't
yeah.
like.
And me personally,
Oh.
I'm not one of the season 5 people who don't like season 5.
I love season
No,
5.
I
Yeah.
love season 5. I'm just saying
No.
there is a little bit of a difference there if you
I would
compare
say, yeah,
season 3 and 4
absolutely,
and
I
stuff.
would agree. But yeah, dude, and I think one of the reasons is it's just refreshing to go back to a show where you're watching cops who aren't all disgusting pieces of shit. Like it's like
Fact,
Yeah,
We
that's
Own the City.
fact.
Many episodes. I mean, it's great. I don't, I like watching stuff about bad people, but there are some episodes of that show where it's like you feel like you need to take a shower afterwards because that's like they're just so gross and
No,
horrible.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I feel
Especially Wayne.
I like rooting for the cops. I like when McNulty and Bunk visit D'Angelo at the pit. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I like
Real
the, Bodie, I didn't say shit. It's just between me, you, and Mr. Shit here. I like rooting for the police, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's like, yeah, I know what you mean. But all
Yeah.
right, Jack, let's get into season 2,
Yeah.
episode 7, man.
And before I start, I must say that Jesse kind of inspired me that I am doing the trend of dry January. So I'm on
Nice.
day 3.
What is dry January?
You don't
Sober
drink so much.
January.
Oh shit. I've been doing that for years. Shit.
Well, we can't all be as cool as you, okay?
Well, you
So
do dry life.
yeah.
You should.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I've had so I needed a break and I feel good, So it's good to be clear-headed. But yeah, let's get through it. And the last thing I'll say before we start the episode is on this episode of The Wire. Sometimes when you watch on HBO, it has a trailer for like another show.
Mm-hmm.
And this one I saw, I don't know if you guys saw it too. They have like there's like a new Game of Thrones spinoff. I mean, it's like how many spinoffs? Just leave it alone, all right. So the episode title of season 2, episode 7 is Backwash, which is of course when there's two phrases for it. Oftentimes it's used when saliva goes back into a water bottle. Um, or also it's used when like water is used to clean dirt off of surfaces and everything. Which kind of plays into what these people are doing, right? They're trying to clean up the ports of all the crime and everything. So, anywho, the title, the quote is interesting. I'll discuss it later when we get to that scene. It's from Thomas Horseface Bazooka.
Pasuko.
Pasuka? Pasuka. I almost said bazooka. He says, "Don't worry, kid. You're still on the clock." And he says that when the new
New
Charles
Charles.
gets injured. So the first scene starts off at a florist, and I liked it because it's just completely unexpected, right? Who the fucking starting off at a florist, right? But sorry, Bodhi goes in there, right? The last episode, and I know it's been a little while since we recapped it, but it ended with D'Angelo's tragic passing, where he was killed and then had his murder framed as a suicide, right? So D'Angelo's at the florist, and he's trying to pick out something nice. And you can just see how just out of place he is anywhere that's not like the terrorist. That's one thing that always stood out is just like how they're whenever they take these characters and they put them in like a different setting, they just feel like
Out of element.
yeah, it reminds me of like when like D'Angelo goes to a fancy restaurant, they just are like, "Where am I? What's going on?" He's even like dressed like shit and everything, but he goes in there and like, wants to get it. And then the first thing too is he asks like, um, who is it for? He says a coworker, and he says sorry, but he doesn't like. He says no, coworker. Like he doesn't understand that the guy is trying to say is like he's sorry for his loss.
Yeah.
He's used to everyone being an asshole, so when like he doesn't understand compassion. You know what I mean? Like it's like kind of a foreign thing when somebody's like being genuinely nice to him. And there's a good like revealing thing about him, because he's getting these flowers and he's explaining to this guy like what happened, that he
Mm-hmm.
hung himself in prison, he couldn't do the 20 years.
Yep.
And you can see kind of like his thoughts are racing too. He doesn't really know how to comprehend it
Nope.
because he's sad, but he doesn't know how to he's not allowed to be sad, right? He has to be tough. So
Yeah.
it's
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 like
tough for him. It's definitely tough for him. I mean, it's him and D'Angelo had issues somewhat, but you can see the remorse. It's like
yeah.
fuck, like
Yeah. And
But
not to
someone you
dimmer
know
the
sorry, go.
mood neither, but rest in peace to this florist. He passed away like at
Oh
42
no.
years old with aneurysm.
yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah, he did. I like the florist here. He did a pretty good acting job. I
He
thought
did.
he was like, because I like where he's like all serious, like I'm, and then he's like realizes this is some hood shit, and he's like, oh,
Let me
I
show
got
you.
something for you. Like
I got the hood shit over here. You
I got
know,
the
let me
hood.
show you
Yeah.
what you're looking for.
He's like, yo, I know what you're looking for now.
They put it,
Bro,
they
he's
leave
like,
it in the
oh yeah,
bag.
shit. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, hell
But
yeah.
you notice they had a fucking like a flower shaped like an AR-15 in the
Yeah,
back
like a
there.
That was
horse. You
hysterical,
know,
man.
It's
That was
like
yeah.
what?
I know what you're looking for. This Baltimore, baby.
Right? Yeah. It's like okay. I guess that would. Can you imagine like showing up to somebody's funeral and getting like flowers shaped like a fucking machine gun? Like what is wrong with
I
you?
mean, I think because of the whole family being who they are, I think the towers are okay. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
but
for sure.
like,
You made a good point.
machine gun floral arrangement, that's out of pocket.
They love the towers, man. It's like in season 4. Remember when they had when Bunny got the Legos for that group, and he was
Mhm.
like, "Sorry, I couldn't find like Legos in the shape of the low-rise towers." You know, that's like
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
their
yeah,
home.
yeah. Facts,
Yeah.
facts. Yeah, good catch. Yeah, good catch.
Uh, and he
Another
kind of
thing
reminds. Sorry,
when he gives him the money too, they didn't talk about no price or nothing. Bodie just gave him
he gave him
cash.
like $200 too. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah,
like right
I
off
mean,
the.
man, and it's no like wire foreshadowing, but it just made me think of Felicia Snoop and her giving him the money for the drill. But he told her a price though, and she gave him some extra. But Bodie just counted out some money and was like, "All right, do what I need you to do."
Yeah. No, yeah, of course he's like, he has like stacks of cash that is obviously, from illegal sources, but he's just like, whatever, this is my money. And Bodhi's a good character too. He is like a nice guy that has like a genuine heart, but it's like he's like trapped in this world where he can't show that. Because he even says like, oh, this guy is a weak guy, he hung himself, but I shouldn't put him down. He's like conflicted on how to feel about it.
I was
Uh,
thinking about the Bodhi character, and maybe we'll do like some character analysis
Analysis, yeah, we talked about it.
episodes. But you could tell Bodhi was guided by String. Bodhi
mhm.
always looked up to String. He's
Yeah.
always a businessman. Like when him and Poot talk in the beginning of season 3, he's like you worried about the towers? Fuck the
You out
memories.
of work.
You out
Fuck
of
you talking
work.
about?
Yeah, yeah. His mind is with the money, but he was raised by Stringer, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bodhi was raised by Stringer, so this is where his mind goes, which I find kind of interesting. But
Bodie
also
killing Wallace four stringer is like
exactly. Yep.
that like put their relationship like in another situation. Like it
Well,
kind
even in season
of
2, when he tested him, and Bodhi's like, "Oh
yep.
man, you were testing me," like, and like Bodhi likes, he even likes being the teacher's pet in those little
In the
classroom
meeting.
sessions,
Yep.
in the
And
Yeah.
meeting.
then when Buddy was questioning what was going on, he said, "Bro, Stringer got this shit. He on top of everything. Get the fuck back to your spot, bro. What are you doing questioning us? Like
Yeah,
Stringer on
yeah,
top of everything. Man, get your ass back to your spot. Like
yeah,
he definitely looks up to Stringer, bro. For
Oh
real.
yeah.
yeah,
He's like,
yes.
yeah. Oh, Bodie was sick. He was like, Slim, give me the fucking word. What are we doing
Right,
here? Like,
right,
that's his
right.
Stringer's definitely his boy for sure. For
And it
sure.
Yeah,
makes sense
right.
too, because it's like Bodhi doesn't have like a father figure in his life.
Nope.
And if you're in that position, Stringer is like a cool dude. He's
Yeah.
a tall, handsome, strong guy who has like a lot of
Boss.
charisma and confidence. He's like,
He's the boss. He's the one
yeah,
that gets shit done. He's the backbone behind that organization. He's the one that cleans all of their money. Like
yeah.
that Stringer, outside of him being a drug dealer, the other stuff is unbelievable. Like it's
Mhm.
unbelievable. He's unbelievable. Like
And Bodhi has ambition too. I think that's what makes him similar to Stringer, and that's what Stringer notices about him is he is ambitious. He has goals. He wants to be the leader, whereas Poot is just fine, just doing whatever. He just wants to get
whatever.
pussy, and
Where the girls at? Mind y'all too, Bodie is only 16 in this season.
that's crazy.
I just want to shout out to Flores right now too when he goes, "Hey, you want the flowers to look like the high."
And Bodie said,
It's so
hell yeah.
perplexed.
He
I
said,
was just
hell
picturing
yeah.
going to like telling the Flores like, I want it to look like the buildings we sell drugs out. Like it's
And you
it's
know what,
obviously a
too?
drug infested.
That's another thing. I'm glad you said that, Jesse, because I took the note down. I was already looking past it. When he was like, when he asked him that, you want to look like a project tower? When he was like, hell yeah. And he said, put the letters in 221, big as hell. And then he was like, he told him, yeah, he had that tower for a while. So you're just admitting to this floor. It's like, yeah, You know,
The
we
drug
selling
dealer.
drugs out of these projectiles kind of thing. Like, yeah, I took that note too.
Oh yeah, he was not subtle about it at all. Coming in wearing like a hoodie and sweatpants, and then taking out stacks of $100 bills. It's like, oh yeah, where do you get this money from? It's like, I kind of like that. He just doesn't give a shit about it, you know. Yeah, Bodhi's a great character, and so this episode we're kind of like we talked about before, kind of sequencing plots together. So like we'll
Oh,
focus.
I'm sorry, real quick, and this is just, I know we're 15 minutes in already, but
There.
there's a little bit of a difference between D'Angelo at the dinner scene worried about what people think and Bodie not giving a fuck, right? Like
That's
if
No.
a great
Bodie is at
catch.
that restaurant, he'll be like, "Who cares? Who cares if they
Who
think I'm
gives
a
a
drug
fuck
dealer?
about these
I
people,
am a
man? Yo,
drug
let me get some
dealer."
steak. Let me get some cheesecake. Let me get a drink. Fuck these people in here, you know, like for sure. Nah, for
That's a
sure.
great catch because
It
Bodhi
is.
is like he is a guy that walks into any room like he owns the room,
Yep.
and that's kind of like the mentality you need to be a leader. You know, he
He
has that.
embodies this. He wants to be the best. I don't even call him just a corner boy, but he wants to be the best hustler that he can be.
Yeah.
And I live by this code and I embody this code. That's why I think for a lot of people, we don't even acknowledge that he was about to snitch on Marlo because we like Bodie so much, you know, kind of thing. And the fans love the Barksdale organization so much, which is why, okay, yeah, D'Angelo getting killed or Wallace getting killed. Oh, well, we love Avon, we love Stringer, so it's okay. But we didn't like Marlo as much, so Bodie snitching is okay. Like, you know, it's goalpost moving in
Right.
reference to who we get mad at for snitching. But he was definitely about to snitch, you know, like, you know, for sure. So
Oh yeah,
we love
totally.
Bodie. We love Bodie.
Dude, everyone's a hypocrite here. They have
Yep.
no like. They always talk about like this code that they have, but they constantly break the code if it suits them. That's what's
Yep.
kind of funny about it. And
Yep.
even like, um, Cheese even says that anymore. He's like, when before Cheese gets killed in the last scene, he's like, there are no rules. He just says it's just
On
the
the
game.
styles to this shit, we selling
Right.
dope. What are
He's
we
just like,
talking?
we just do whatever the fuck we want, and that's kind of. And he was honestly kind of right. There is no
He
rules,
was.
or you
You know
know.
what? Too, before we move on, let me ask y'all something too. And I don't know how many of them are in the wire, but Cheese was definitely one of them. That was probably one of the most satisfying deaths
Yeah.
from fans.
Oh, that was amazing.
You know, I don't know if there's a Wiretap Truth's random episode of satisfying deaths. It's not a lot, but
sure.
Cheese is one of them. Like, you know,
I'm trying to think right off the bat, like who else.
that was one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Cheese
You
was like
know,
the biggest fucking piece of shit.
for sure. For
And you
sure.
know, great like reverse
Stringer
catch.
was pretty satisfying to me.
But
Same.
that's not a popular opinion though. Cheese is a popular opinion. It's
Well, that's
not
a
a lot
testament to
of
Idris Elba's acting, honestly, because it's like
yeah,
a
you
worse
know,
actor would have made you hate him. I think it's Idris Elba is such a cool guy that
yeah.
his people are willing to overlook his character flaws.
Because we're gonna talk about some of them in this episode. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we talk about shit, cold blooded. What the fuck?
In fact, Stringer's kind of one of the main characters in this episode. He has a lot of screen time.
for sure.
In fact, McNulty, the main character, only is in one scene at the end of this episode. And that's one thing that's always love about the show is that you never know what to expect. Like sometimes other characters will be like in the entire episode, and then the next one that you don't
You
see
know,
them. It's just like kind of just however the story flows. You know, you can't really predict anything. Um, so Stringer, of course, hired that guy from DC to kill D'Angelo, right? So he meets with him later on in his car to give the rest of the money owed for the killing. And the guy that does this is like kind of immediately like crosses a line where he says like, "Does Avon know about this?"
Oh,
And
what are you, bro?
it's
What the fuck are
crazy.
you asking me that for?
What do you think
That
he's
is
gonna
none of
say?
your business. Like,
Yeah,
pay $10,000, get the fuck out my passenger seat.
that was crazy audacity to
What?
ask him like.
What? Come on, bro.
And
He was
Stringer
like,
handles it like a pro. He says like, "You're right. It is none of your business." And he subtly threatens him by saying like, "I wouldn't tell Avon if I were you." You know. So,
and you know what, Jack? Him saying the last two parts of what you just said, when he first asked him, and he kind of nods his head like, nah, he didn't know. I don't even think Stringer should have even done that. Like, I don't even think he should have even I think they should have skipped that part and he should have just been like, bro, that's none of your fucking business. Like, kind of
Right.
thing. I don't think he should have even alluded to, nah, Avon didn't know, but he
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of paused and kind of was like, and then he was like, then Buddy said, oh, so you on your own here. And then Stringer was like, yeah, you're right, it is none of your business. I wouldn't have even hinted at it, bro. Take the $10,000 and get out of my car, bro. What are you even questioning me for? Like, what are we talking about here, bro?
This guy's just like a middleman for a hitman. We don't even know that this guy's like a mob boss or anything.
Nah.
He's just some random guy from DC.
Yeah.
I guess he feels comfortable because he's protected by his dudes in Washington, D.C., but still, it takes a lot of audacity to say it to a guy like Stringer, who's essentially like the mob boss here.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Stringer's so calculated and menacing and ruthless here. And you even see as he's walking away, he has that like cold stare of his that's just like intimidating,
Probably the coldest. This is probably the coldest scenes. These are probably the coldest scenes to me.
Yeah.
Probably. In terms of ruthlessness. I know we got some ruthless stuff with Chris and stuff like that, but for Stringer to be with his hand on Brianna's shoulder and helping her cope is like next level
sociopathic.
Yeah, I know there's a difference between sociopath and psychopath. I know it's like, they got different qualities and stuff, but it's one of them, Jack. I don't know.
Yeah, it is one. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's so fucking cold. Like,
oh yeah, I'm sure if we got a psychologist on here, he would diagnose Stringer as like a psychopath, like a medically.
It's a channel I watch. It's a channel. I think I put it in the group when we were talking about Top Boy like a few months ago, and he breaks down psychoanalysis of characters. Usually it's just one character, but when he did The Wire, he did, I think, Stringer, Marlowe, and I want to say Chris. I think those are the two characters he brought down. I'm gonna have to watch that today and see how he breaks it down. But the sociopath or psychopath, it's like they got different qualities, like kind of thing.
Right. From what I understand, from what I've read, sociopaths are people that do things that are horrible, but they don't believe they're bad. They think what I'm doing actually serves a better purpose. They justify what they do that's horrible, whereas psychopaths just kill people and they know it's awful. They don't care.
I think
here's the key distinction that I just looked up. Psychopaths are better at blending in due to calculated behavior, but more dangerous in their cold, remorseless actions. Sociopaths are often easier to spot due to their instability and outbursts, but can still cause harm through impulsivity. So psychopaths seem to be more dangerous.
So psychopath sounds like Stringer's a psychopath and Avon is a sociopath. Then
that is very interesting.
That's an interesting, yeah. Hey, I would like to get a therapist on the show, a psychologist.
Yeah. I'm gonna send y'all that video because Buddy breaks it. That's his whole thing, is the psychology of a character, and I mean he gets into it. Like he looks up stuff, he breaks it down. He has diagrams about these characters. It's really next level. Like I'm gonna have to watch the one on The Wire. That's the one I've actually never watched of his, but he does. He's done Walter White. He's done Saul Goodman. He's done some people from Power. Some different shows, like it's pretty cool. It's pretty dope.
I'll definitely check that out.
I would also say by these definitions that Marlowe is the psychopath.
Yeah, for sure. Marlowe is a cold-blooded psychopath.
I didn't even need the definition to even,
When they call one of the cops, the one that like I forget what his name was. The
Holly,
one.
the spawn of the devil. He called him the spawn of the devil. And it's one of those scenes that I rewatch 10 times every time I watch it because it's just speaking to Marlowe's character. And the cop is almost shocked himself. He's like, Kima?
More frightening. They're just like,
he's like, Kima? That boy is a spawn of the devil.
Yeah. Leland, you need to do what I do and just watch your favorite scenes on YouTube. And then you don't have to rewind it when you watch the episode. I just rewatch my favorite scenes a lot. Yeah,
that's facts. I used to do that before we started our podcast too. Like the Colvin scene where he's admitting to Amsterdam. I know it's probably got 300,000 views on YouTube. 100,000 of them are probably me. I just love that scene, and everybody is so shocked. And then Ross is like, "Motherfucker, you legalized drugs?" Oh shit! And then Morrell gets up, he hits the table. And then the chair falls out. Like, I love that scene. That's a favorite scene of mine. I love that scene.
So, with Stringer though, I would actually, because this transition in the next scene, because Marlo, forget sociopath, I would diagnose him by this scene as having narcissistic personality disorder, because Marlo, this, and it's a great contrast between showing how Stringer is remorseless and showing how Avon is deeply hurt.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, he is
where,
hurt. He's talking to Weebay, bro. Like I took
yeah,
that note too, bro. He's fucked up in his head. Like,
he's not even eating that like delicious food that they got,
oh,
like.
y'all good at KFC. When Weebay say you better get up in this shit.
Yeah, it's better than fucking prison food, man. I take KFC any day over that, you know? They look good. I was like, shit, I gotta get
And
some
I
fried
think
chicken.
I think Weebay is a little hurt here too. I think
Yeah,
Weebay, Weebay, I think is I think D'Angelo was raised by Avon and Weebay. Actually, like Weebay's the one who taught him the rules. What I teach you, D. He's always scolding D. Like
Yep.
that makes sense because he's about like a few years older than Stringer and Avon, I would say. He's like mid to late 30s, whereas Avon and Stringer are like early 30s. It's weird how like I'm like the same age as Stringer Bell here. I gotta accomplish more. I gotta start getting my own territories. Um, But yeah, so Avon here, and I would also argue later on when we talk about McNulty later on that he might have narcissistic personality disorder. But
What?
the reason I would say Avon, well, the reason I would say Avon here though is because Avon internalizes it all about himself, right?
Yep, he
Because he
definitely
says
does.
he talks about how of course he's deeply sad that his nephew died, right? But he talks about how it affected him. He says he did this to hurt me,
And he said, "Fuck him,"
right?
like kind of thing. And he did. A lot of people too, y'all, when they were breaking down D'Angelo's character, it's like they're taking into consideration what he did, thinking that he killed himself, but they're also voicing their opinions on what they think was wrong with him. Like
Hmm.
Bodie, he was like when he said he kind of hung himself, well, not kind of hung himself. When he hung himself, he was like, well, that shit, that's kind of somebody weak when you think about it, like he talked about him when Weebay was talking to Avon about him, and when Avon was talking to Weebay, when they were having their conversation, Avon was like, D was just fucking weak, man, and then Weebay, this is kind of for fans who might not understand, because I'm still trying to figure out, like, what was the final moment to make Stringer snap and be like, yeah, I need to kill D'Angelo? Like, what was that extra moment when Weebay is talking to Avon? It's kind of like from Stringer's perspective as far as justification, because he's
Right.
like, he snitched on you the one time. He may be getting here and think he can't start doing those years. It's almost like, okay, well, I guess that's why you had to do it, kind of thing, like. But people are talking down on D'Angelo. Nobody is really lifting him up or talking about him in a positive way whatsoever. Like,
And nobody cares about him. That's what bothers me, and that's one thing that I love about McNulty is that in season 3 he calls everyone out he
mm-hmm.
calls Brianna out by saying like nobody gave a shit about how any of this affected him. You're all
Facts.
thinking about yourself. You're all
Yep.
thinking about how it affects you and your livelihood. Nobody stopped to think about how he was processing or how he was feeling about this. They just put all of this fucking assumption and all of this weight on this 20-year-old kid instead of being a fucking grown adult and taking the responsibility for yourself.
Y'all know what, too? Just thinking about D'Angelo not having nobody in his corner.
Mm.
Nobody, really. I mean, his mom loved him, obviously, but Chardine was the only one where a sense of something different or a sense of care from somebody really was maybe genuine, kind of thing. I'm saying, thinking
I
about it.
I
Like,
love Chardine with D.
with
I
D'Angelo,
I
yeah, you
I
mentioned that a few
I, I
times,
like
bro.
him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Like, I'm just saying, thinking about it, because the mom, she made him take the years. I get the why. You kind of have to. You can't
Yeah.
snitch on the whole family, son. I get it, but terrible mom moment.
No,
You know,
I would take, but Avon's older. He should be the one to be the adult in the fucking room and be like, look, I'm the guy in charge, right? The buck stops here.
I'll take the charge.
D'Angelo, it could have been a time like, I don't know. I always, even when the first time I saw it, I was just like, they fucked him over. That's how I felt about it. I was just like,
Yeah,
and it's like, and here too, they're not thinking about like, oh my God, this is so sad that he was sad. They're just angry because it inconvenienced them, you
yeah.
know? And
His
that's,
mom is truly sad because she's his mom.
Right.
You know? Like, and I'm sure maybe she felt some type of way, like, damn, I was fucked up to make him take those years, especially when McNulty reiterates it. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Brianna's unpopular opinion. I kind of like Brianna. I
Yeah,
mean,
the guilt definitely. Then McNulty has that scene, which we'll of course talk about in season 3. That the guilt pours over her, and it's like it's almost like that's what her subconscious was telling her. But to have
yeah,
somebody else tell her
she
that,
she
it's like
thought maybe that he didn't. She wasn't sure, like, but she definitely at the thought of him, somebody doing it, she was like, oh, well, this makes a whole lot more sense than my son killing himself. Like,
right.
dang, like, you know, so yeah,
It's sad, man.
nobody was really taking up from him. Same with Wallace. Him and Wallace have a similar, I don't want to say after death kind of moment. You know, nobody really is there for Wallace after he passed. His mom is, you know, she drunk as hell at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, you know, kind of thing. She don't really give a fuck.
And if you really want to deep dive too, it could be like a metaphor for how the older generations don't really look out for the youth, and how that's sort of led to the collapse of society. You know, maybe.
That's next level podcast talk right there,
Uh,
Jack. Damn.
yeah, man. No.
Naaman. I think I do think that part of the reason that Weebay lets Naaman go is because of D'Angelo's death.
Really?
Like,
Speak on that. Speak on that. What do you mean?
well, that he's like when Coben's telling him like, "Come on, man, being who you are, you got to see what." Because Weebay, you know, Naaman wants to talk tough to impress his dad, but Weebay's been around enough of this where,
You know his
like,
son.
if he knows his son, like Bunny said, and
Mhm.
I think Naaman is reflective of D'Angelo, and Weebay was around D'Angelo all the time, and he's like, he's gonna end up in the morgue here with you.
Mm-hmm.
If Weebay really thinks about he's gonna know his son is D. He's going
Mm-hmm.
he like Coven is
Damn.
right.
That's a great catch. It's
That
true because
is damn, Jesse. Wow.
see, this is
That's
why
some
we're the
interesting
best podcast.
perspective on it, bro. Wow.
But also, yeah, that's a great point because it's like
Hmm.
when D'Angelo's with Chardine, right? It's like tragic because you see that and you realize like he could have had a way out. He could have had potential to live like an honest life.
Yeah.
Maybe he went started his own business. He started his own restaurant. They even talked about that, like, hey, we should give when D'Angelo gets out, we should give him
In his
like
own
a club to
club or
run.
something. Yep.
And he could have had that, without abandoning his family. He could have had this like life of like I'm just living an honest living with this
I think I think for
woman.
D'Angelo, what he should have done, and he didn't want to accept because he was still so shocked about the Wallace stuff. He didn't want to be able to attach his freedom to Avon killing 5
Yeah,
people in jail. And that's what got us, that's what got our time reduced. He's like, kind of thing. Like he would
salt
have
of
done the
blood.
20 years. He would have done the 20 years and not snitched. I don't even think that's a
Yeah.
question. But I think he could have had it both ways. Like he could have just shunned his uncle. His uncle was gonna work the move to get them released. He could have just been like, well, fuck you, uncle, and let his uncle still, say, hey, look, I want you to reduce my nephew's sentence too. He could have had it all, but he didn't want anything to do with his uncle. He was like, just let me do my 20 years. But he could have had his sentence reduced, got released, got back with his family, and lived a legit life. He could have, but to be attached to his uncle. So you killed Wallace and you killed 5 people in here, one of them who I knew in jail.
Right.
Like, no, I don't want no
Without a
part.
second thought, too, without any
Yeah,
sort of
I
like.
don't want no parts of this shit no more. I do my 20.
Yeah.
Stringer, leave me alone. Dinette, leave me alone. Avon, leave me alone.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great point. And later on, we see Stringer going into Brianna's house where they're having sort of a wait for him. And Stringer, I will say, he did dress up for the occasion, and he did bring over some hors d'oeuvres and everything, and
Motherfucker.
the basic courtesy. But then he goes in, and he has the audacity to ask Donna, he's like, "How are you holding up?" And it's like she sucks also
She
because you
don't
could
care.
tell she
She don't
doesn't
care.
care.
No, she don't
Again,
care.
it's all just an inconvenience for these people. Whereas like Brianna, his mom, I mean, that's every
She's
parent's
mourning.
worst nightmare, of course.
She's
Is
mourning. She's
right.
mourning. She's
And
definitely mourning. She's the only one that this really, really affected in terms of not slowing shit up. Like,
yeah,
everybody else is like, all right, shit, had to get out the way. when Stringer asked Donette how you holding up, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm good." You know,
Right.
my son's father's dead. He just killed himself. You know, I'm
I want
straight.
to get. I want to get Donette on the show, man. I want to interview the actress. I want to see how she is.
Like,
You
what the hell's your
know,
problem? No.
yeah. Like, no big deal. You
By
know.
the
No,
way,
because
before
I bet you, like, I don't know. I haven't seen interviews with her and stuff, but I bet you she's probably like the biggest sweetheart.
oh
You
yeah,
know.
of
I'm
course.
sure. I'm sure. Double G, us interviewing Teddy Kanaz and him being one of the sweetest people in the world
Yeah.
versus how we view him as Double G. Oh yeah, that I'm sure Donette is a sweet person in person. Like, you know, same
And I
with
heard the same with
anybody
Jamie
else we
Hector.
talk about. Yeah, same
I
with
heard
Jamie
he's like the
Hector.
nicest guy.
Same with Herc. I'm sure if we ever get Herc on, you know, I'm sure he's not Herc in real life. You know.
By the way, before we move on, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge that Leland is wearing a McLovin t-shirt. I don't think we
Yes.
mentioned that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Legend.
Gotta represent. Gotta
Legend on the
represent.
docks.
Oh yeah. Love McLovin. Stringer goes into Brianna's room, and Brianna's of course a mess, and Stringer just sits there quietly, patiently consoles her, puts his hand on her shoulder. It's like if you didn't
Leland, what
know,
did this remind you of? I mean, I
What?
asked Leland because I don't think Jack. Jack might know. What movie? What movie?
Stringer going into the room?
Consoling the mom.
I don't know. What movie?
Tupac and Juice. Bishop and Juice.
oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Yes,
That's right.
indubitably. Yeah, man. Damn, you hit. I didn't know where you were going with that. Yeah, that's spot
Jesse
on.
thinks I don't. Jesse thinks I don't know Juice. What the fuck, man?
I don't know how many hood movies you watch.
You don't
I know Leland. All he watches is hood shows and movies.
look.
So,
I might be white, okay, but
Yeah.
if I mention something that's not a hood show or movie to Leland, he'd be like, "No, I never heard." And then, but he'll tell me about Tales from the Hood. Like, "Oh, you
Yeah, no,
remember
for sure.
that?"
Yeah, that's from the hood. Yeah, Menace to Society, Belly. Yeah, we can get all of that shit. But yeah, you're right, bro. That is cold. He's one of the coldest movie characters ever. Juice.
Yeah.
For them. He was
he was a great actor.
Bishop was he was menacing in that movie for sure. But no, that scene is so fucking cold. Like
Without, what's funny with if you didn't know like that Stringer was responsible, it would be like a really nice, touching scene. That's what's funny.
Like, I was just about to say that, Jack. Like if you look at him, he's rubbing her, he's consoling her, she's grabbing his hand, she's crying. It's like, man, Stringer, like, and that's what I wanted to ask y'all too. Like, why did Stringer kill D'Angelo? Like,
He just wanted to be. I think for a multitude of reasons. I think he genuinely thought like, hey, this guy could spill the beans.
oh, I guess a better question is, what was the final straw to make him do it? Like, I guess.
Didn't Donette say something that he's like not listening?
He said to just leave him alone, kind of thing. And then Stringer said to his son, "It sounds like your dad is bucking us."
I think that's why he makes the decision right there.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get the where. It's just I guess I don't know. I guess it just wasn't. It's such a drastic move. Like it seems like okay, maybe him saying to Donette, "Look, I'm about to tell again," or something. With just
so you know what's crazy? Donette inadvertently set up the hit on D.
Damn, never thought about that. Yeah, you know, because I don't know. I was just taking my notes when I was rewatching. I'm like, what was the final straw to make him decide? Because he said to Donette, "Hey, y'all just leave me be." Like y'all, I don't know.
Well, I think he treated him less like a threat and more like a nuisance, right? Where it's just like it wasn't. I think to me it was like just a matter of convenience. He was like, I'm sick of like having to deal with this guy. I'm sick of like having to like care about his feelings.
He was asking Avon a few times too, y'all. Like, hey, your nephew, he not out of reach, right? Like, so in the back of his mind, he was already thinking, like,
yeah,
because he asked him a few times in season 2, like, what's up with your nephew? Is he good? He gonna be all right, kind of thing. So he was already in the back of his mind thinking, like, I'm not trusting him with 20 years over his fucking head for this whole organization, like,
right. And I think to me it's like even if he wasn't a threat, it was just like, I think personally he was just like, I'm sick of dealing with this guy or pretending to care about his feelings or having to
Yeah.
like fuck him, you know, like let's just get rid of him and move on. I think that's what the thing with, I think he's like such a sociopath that he treated his whole life like just like an inconvenience to Stringer's success, like an
Yeah.
obstacle. So he's like, it reminded me of like when, all right, spoiler Sopranos, but when should I say? Did you guys watch
Yeah.
this? All right. So
Yeah.
when it's reminding me of like when
It's
Tony
a show.
killed Christopher, and he was just like, I feel relieved, you know. And it's like, it's because that's what happens. He doesn't value life. Like
See,
he looks at a life as like, does this benefit me or hurt me? And he
It's
feels like,
called desensitized to death, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
and it makes sense. So he was just
Tony
like,
killing Christopher made no sense to me. I don't think I could. I gotta watch season 6 again. I don't remember liking it that much.
is that the ending? That's the end of The Sopranos?
yeah,
Yeah.
this was like one of the very last few episodes of
Oh,
that
okay.
show.
Okay.
So at his funeral, though, like everyone showed up, right? It was kind of very sweet. Like even people from
From the east side.
From the east
Yep.
side show up. You have Prop Joe there, and a great shot of like showing all the great camera work because it shows the way they shot Stringer is again he's got that like menacing stare where you could just tell he's like plotting and scheming, and like even though his hand is still on Brianna's shoulder, and it shows from her perspective, like the camera roams around, and from what I took it is like Brianna's wondering, like, who did this? You know, I think from her mom's perspective, I think she never really believed that he killed himself. I think that she was like convinced herself that, but I think she was looking at all these people and just like trying to figure out what exactly happened. You know,
The
that's why.
only reason why I think at that point I don't think that's the case is because when she was talking to McNulty,
Mm,
she until he was able to really break it down to her that hey, look at the marks on his neck. Look at the distance from the door to the floor. Like
right.
until that moment, and she was even combative with him, saying, "My son hung himself. Let's stop the bullshit." Like
I
So
think
I
she's
don't
trying to
know.
convince herself, but you're
Yeah,
probably right there. You know, maybe I'm just looking at it from a
I think from the mom's perspective, in terms of her knowing her son, maybe in the back of her mind, she's thinking, I don't know. I don't know if he would do it or if he hung himself. I don't think so, kind of thing. But for the story purposes, I think she's accepting it until McNulty. I don't think
okay.
she's questioning it until McNulty puts that in her ear. I
I
don't think.
gotcha.
I have to look at the scene again and look at how she's looking. But at the funeral, she's got glasses on, and
Mm,
she is kind of like it's a very cold look on her face. Like she's not crying at the funeral, kind of thing.
no, she's just so in
So
shock, you know.
I might need to rewatch that scene again
Yeah,
to see because she's not crying. Like the
yeah, she's
son
in
is
shock,
crying.
you know.
Yeah, she's holding the son, and you know what too? It was a lady I used to work with. Last year I worked at the storage facility, like all over Atlanta. It was like 6 of them, and one of them was a city it's a city called Decatur here in Georgia, and it was this lady who had just lost her son. Her son got robbed. He just moved to Georgia, just graduated, had a banking job, got robbed and killed by like a 17-year-old. When I talked to her on the phone, she was so stoic. Like you could hear it. And then when I told my manager, he told me, he was like, yeah, well, she cried with me already, like
Mhm.
she had already called me and shed tears and stuff. So at that point, it's kind of stoic, if you will.
Yeah,
I
man.
sound bad to say, maybe Brianna at the funeral was like, okay, I've got my tears out. And it's like I'm really stone faced because the son was crying and she was holding the son. She was consoling him.
People grieve differently, you know. Just to open up here, you know, for a second, like I grieve differently, where I kind of subconsciously hold it in until it explodes. You know, a few years ago, like I lost one of my best friends, and
Damn.
like it really hurt, but like I didn't really process it until I remember like a week later. I just sat in my car and I just like cried for like an hour. And sometimes that just happens. Some people
Yeah.
just, you know, they process it differently.
Yeah.
But here, so yeah, so we see also Prop Joe is here,
Mm-hmm.
and Prop Joe he lives up to his namesake here because he's
Right.
I got a proposition.
Right.
Or,
And like, why is Prop Joe at the funeral? Like,
he's paying his respects, you
yeah,
know.
I get it. But we're not really friends. Like
Yeah,
you
I
know,
I actually think that agrees with his character though, because he is like a respectful guy. I think
for
he's
sure, for
and
sure.
one of this thing about this what I appreciate about Prop Joe, which is demonstrating the scene, is that he has like no ego. He's all about like thinking strategically. Without
Facts.
Avon is all about ego, right?
Yep.
Because Prop Joe goes up to Stringer and he says, "Look, you got the territory, I got the package. You see
Yep.
where this is going." And
Later
then
for the gangster shit, bro.
right,
Let's I'm by $4. It's all about business, Stringer. And what is Stringer at heart? A fucking businessman.
yeah. Oh yeah. He
You know
loves
what I'm
business. He
saying?
loves
I think
business,
if
dude.
Avon was at the funeral, he would have been like, "Get the fuck out!"
What
Right.
you see when he went to jail and he went to talk to Avon about the funeral, and he's like, "Yeah, Prop Joe wants us to cut him if we cut him a slice of the towers." He like, "Bro, fuck no! What are you talking about, bro? What are you? It's
Right.
not even an
No,
option."
but when you said what is Prop Joe doing at the funeral, I think Avon would have been like, "Bro, you're not welcome
Oh yeah,
at
what
my
these East
nephew's
Side bitches
funeral."
doing over here? Yeah, it might have been
But they
some of that.
never had like bad blood though. I mean,
Nah,
like they were
Because
rivals.
West
when
Side, East
Marlo,
Side always naturally,
this
you
guy
know.
introduced Marlo to Boris, Sergey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This guy introduced Marlo to Sergey because he wanted him to cut the East Side out, and
yeah,
Marlo tried to kill him. Like, if you
That's
can
yeah.
look
right.
Facts.
beyond somebody killing you just to cut
Yeah.
out the East Side, you know.
Yeah, nah,
He ended
facts.
up getting screwed over by the people that it was kind of like an ironic death almost. Um yeah, but so like but he goes to Avon and Avon's not thinking strategically, right? Because Stringer lays it out like, look, we have a great opportunity to get like real drugs in here that isn't shit that people will actually want to buy. This way we keep the territories, but like half of the territories go to fucking Prop Joe, or like a part of
Mhm.
it goes to him.
It's half. It's 3-3. They're gonna split the
Right.
towers 3-3.
Okay. And
Yep.
Avon's like, fuck that. Like, this is my towers. And for him, it's all about, like, I want to be the man and I want to control
And
everything.
But
yep, like go ahead, Jesse.
Avon is right in this whole situation. I
That's what I'm about to say too.
Stringer making the deal with Joe was one of the dumbest things Stringer did. Like,
I wouldn't call it dumb because they made more money, but Avon is right because of what they had to do to get them towers. Like I don't want to say the decision was right to not include Prop Joe, but if you listen to what Stringer said to Prop Joe about what they had to do to get those towers, he started listing all of the beefs they had to overcome. He was like, we got rid of this person, this person, this person, and Prop Joe was like, look, later for all of that, bro. I get it,
Yeah.
but this is business. I don't think it was stupid because they made more money. That's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. They
Right.
but
made
it
more
caused
money bringing
internal
Prop Joe in
problems.
there.
Poot said, do you realize we look like bitches out there? Like, you just
Yeah,
let
no,
like East
true.
Coast,
But
like,
at the end of the day, is it about rep or is it about money? And it's about money. It's about both, really. But you can't have power without the money. So the
Hmm.
fact they made more money in that deal, I don't think it was a stupid deal. Because what else were they going to do? They ain't had no product. They
Right.
had to get some better product regardless. So regardless of how Stringer did it, that had to happen for them to keep command of those towers. The period. So he kind of had to do it or find another connect with some better drugs,
Hmm.
And 48 minutes in, we want to say please like, share, subscribe, comment,
Yeah.
Wiretap Truth. We appreciate all the love, all the support. Thank you so much. But yeah, I get what you're saying though, Jesse. It caused a lot of problems, but he ain't had no choice. They ain't had no choice to keep the towers. They didn't have no choice other than to find another supplier because the shit was so bad. It was a terrible product. Like even back to season 1, and that dialogue with Prop Joe saying Avon's been putting out piss and calling it shit, phenomenal. That's a phenomenal
That
little
is a
line.
great line.
That's a great line. Like I'm like, man, that's ain't
Prop
nothing like
Joe's a
that.
good talker, man.
Yeah, ain't nothing like that when we own this city.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
get it.
yeah.
But yeah, that whole little dialogue was a phenomenal. And whoever was singing, I don't know if that's a real singer who was singing the opening to D'Angelo's funeral. He was singing his ass off.
He was
that was,
great.
Yeah,
a beautiful song, yeah.
Jesus on the main line, like
And you see genuine remorse with everyone there. And
yep.
the last part before we move on to the next plot line is that um Stringer kind of lets Avon off the hook, right? Because Avon's feeling guilty about he's feeling
Oh yeah,
responsible for his death. And
yep.
honestly, this was like one of Stringer's better moments, and it is one thing you should do for people that do. Unfortunately, of course, that happens,
Lose
and when
somebody.
somebody ends their own life, oftentimes the people close to them feel guilt and responsibility. And Stringer was saying like what the right thing. He was like, look, this isn't on you. How can you can't, at the end of the day, you can't
watch
be with
this.
somebody 24/7 to
Facts.
prevent. If they really want to do that, they're going to do that. And this is a tough topic to talk about. But it's like, it was one of Stringer's better moments, in my
It
opinion.
was, and it's it's
I
the
can't I
brother
can't give
quality
him
of
the moment for him being the the one
Right.
I
responsible
mean,
for the grief.
but
Fair.
I get what Jack is saying. What choices he have? He gonna say, "Yeah, bro, it sucks. I had to do your nephew like that." Like but your
I
boy is
can't
mourning, regardless of if you're the reason for the mourning.
Right.
You
I
gotta,
can't
he's thinking that damn, it's my fault that my nephew killed himself. Granted, it's
but
Stringer's fault. I get what you're saying, Jesse. Like, but
yeah, well, I can't drive over your dog and then you go, man, I should have not let my dog outside. And I go, man, it's not your fault. Yeah, because it's
yeah,
mine.
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, Avon, he is
Yeah.
feeling somewhere because it happened in jail. Avon is the king of the jail. It's almost like maybe I felt like I could have prevented it, but he couldn't have. Even if he did do that,
Right.
he wouldn't have been able to stop it.
It reminds me of this old Tracy Morgan bit, how he talked about how his uncle stole his computer and then helped him look for it because he wanted to remove himself as a suspect. um, but yeah, so that was the plot line. Now, let's talk about the detail, right? Because like kind of like in the previous season, Bunk and BD Russell and Freeman, it's actually very similar to the first season because they go into this case thinking this is all just some dumb bullshit to satisfy the egos of the higher ups, and then when they start digging, they realize actually there really is some dirt going on here, and it's
There's some
deeper
real
than what
shit.
people actually thought, and we actually really need this manpower,
Yep.
and like and of course, so they're gonna need like they cloned a computer, and of
Yep.
course, Landsman is fucking pissed off.
Like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
And I like what he says, like, you guys want to slow down a little bit and play brain surgery.
Another thing I took to y'all, Landsman said we are running a 25 murder a month operation. So it's a murder a day, damn near. Like somebody
Yeah.
get murdered every day. Like shit. Good
Yeah.
gracious.
And yeah, no, of course. And Landsman says, you want to play video games hunched over? But then Landsman gets the idea of like, wait, what if we pin this off on Daniels? What if we try to get Daniels to take the 14 murders? Then the low clearance rate isn't on us, it's on his unit.
And then Bunk, he says, no, he's just giving us a home. He's not going to take the murders. Right. Immediately, and I never knew this all these years, Jack. Immediately, as soon as he says that and Landsman gets up, he don't say nothing to BD and Bunk. He's going to Detective Ross. Or he's going straight to Ross. That's where he's going. I never put where was Landsman going so fast when he got up. He didn't say nothing to him. But then when Landsman and Ross and Daniels are in the office, I'm like, oh, he went straight to Ross to tell him, hey, look, they kind of are into this murder investigation. You probably need to ask Daniels to try to take these murders.
Yeah.
Like it's some dialogue we don't see on screen, but that's obviously where he went immediately. He went straight to Ross. It was like, look,
and
this
another thing. Almost everybody is eating food in this episode. I know I talked about it beforehand.
Yeah. You see the scene where they're eating the pizza boxes and it's half-eaten pieces of
all the soda.
Pizza boxes. Yeah. I saw that. I caught that.
Oh, yeah. And here Landsman's always snacking, right?
Always.
And then Rawls is like peeling an orange.
Yeah.
Rawls is like peeling an orange in the next scene when he's talking to Daniels. Yeah, everyone's like eating in this. I noticed that too. I was like, that's an interesting. Yeah. Food plays a big role in The Wire. Food and music are two things that I think play. And of course, well, as we mentioned, Weebay and Avon having KFC later on. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's true. Landsman goes to Rawls. They bring in Daniels. It's a fucking ping pong match of who takes this murders, right? Rawls tries to say to Daniels, why don't you take these murders? And Daniel's straight. I like how like blunt and honest. He's like, no, I'm trying to get out of here. Thanks. And he says like, fuck off. He does his cool little Daniel strut out of here. And then Rawls is like, well, he's smarter than he looks.
I say that. Me and my wife say that all the time about me. That's a phrase about me. I say that all the time. Like, hey, guess I'm smarter than I look kind of thing. Because that was such an asshole statement. Because like, what do you mean smarter than he looks? It's because he's black. Is that what you're saying? Like, basically, in short term, it's because he's black. He might be stupid, like kind of thing. And that's probably exactly what he's saying. Like,
I didn't take it like that.
How did you take it?
He's just a dumb looking guy joke. He's smarter than you.
How though? What looks dumb about Daniels? He got perfect posture, perfect body fat, no body fat, tall, slender. He don't look dumb. He got a law degree. Like he
Good
don't
posture.
look dumb. You
He's got
know.
that strut, you know.
Yeah,
I
I think
think,
for sure it's a black
yeah.
thing.
Well,
Because you
Raw's
know why I
also.
think that, Jesse? Is
No,
because
yeah, I hear you.
when Rawls was trying to like work his way into season 4, when he was trying to take Burrell's spot, and he was talking to Carcetti and Norman about it. He was like, you know, sometimes you have to elevate people past what their strong suits are. And then he was like, you know, I'm no more of a racist than you are, Mayor, you know, kind of thing. But let me make this statement. That's why I think it was a black thing for sure. I'm almost certain it was actually.
No, you're right. I mean, you have a good point.
Yeah.
You know, but he was killing that orange though for sure. Like
He
he was
was. He was
yeah, he was
devouring
killing
that
that orange.
shit, man.
Another thing too, y'all, there's something else I took a note on. If Daniels never took them murders, right? Let's say he never took the murders. Him solving that wiretap case with those bodies, he wouldn't have had that on his jacket. And when they were electing commissioner and they were electing him over Rawls, they mentioned, oh, he's somebody that brought closure to a few high level wiretap cases. So him taking the murders off of Rawls in season 2 essentially put him ahead of Rawls for when it was time for commissioner. Granted, they were never going to make a white person commissioner in Baltimore anyway, probably. But, you know, Daniel solving the murders that he took from Rawls definitely helped, for
Oh,
sure.
for
Yeah,
sure.
but taking those murders was a big risk versus reward thing, right? Because
No, for sure, bro. For
if you
sure,
don't
bro.
solve it, you have 14 unsolved, and
Bro,
and
for sure.
and they were this close. They were this close to being unsolved.
For sure.
Actually, they never even captured the Greeks.
No, well, because of Sergey admitting to what happened with the buddy that they killed, and then he was on the ship and they found the body of him. They found a picture of him when he didn't have his head cut off and he had a tattoo on his leg. So when they found the torso, they found the body, they found his legs, they found the same tattoo. And then Sergey admitted to it. So it's like all of that is gonna prove that this person was the person that did the murder, and then Sergey's admitting that he was there when he got killed. So it's his statement that kind of okays the solving of the case, kind of thing. So
That makes
but
sense.
yeah, it was close though. If not for Sergey, if they never would have caught Sergey, they might not have been able to bring closure to those murders, like at all, you know. But that little nugget from season 2, if Daniels want to solve that case, I don't know. You know, he doesn't have as many high level murder investigations bringing to a closure on his jacket, you know. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Daniels, of course, rejects the offer at first,
as
and
he should have.
yeah, as we should have. You know, and he talks to his wife Marla about it, who's not happy. And for a second, because we're going to interview the great Vince Peranio, the production designer, so I want to talk a little bit about how much I love the production design here. It's like my favorite, one of my favorite aspects of film. When he's talking to Marla outside on his
On their
stoop,
steps.
it's like the lighting is perfect because it's
Perfect.
just the external street lights, and it creates this like, you know, one of the big problems I have, a problem that a lot of movies suffer from is they don't know how to utilize darkness. I find is that when it's dark, it's like you can't see the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they say, well, it's because it's dark. It's like, no, your job is to
Like that
illuminate
dark
them in the
scene up,
dark.
right?
Right. So to illuminate them in the darkness so that you can still see them. The best movies and shows, they all have scenes at night, right? But you could still see the characters and understand what they're doing. That really shines through here, is that even though it's nighttime, you have such a clear picture of Cedric and Marla talking. The light
Yeah.
is shine right on them, so it's like you have this HD picture, but it feels like nighttime too, with the house lights lit up. You have
Yeah.
that sense of like being outside at night with the lights on, and you also have the external noises of like hearing crickets in the background.
Mm-hmm. It's a
I,
great shot.
oh yeah, for sure. I noticed that too later on when you have McNulty talking to his wife. This scene, Cedric's trying to talk to his wife about he's like testing the waters of like, how do you feel about me going back into police? Because the last time we saw them speak, he kind of told his wife that he's leaving police and is going to become a lawyer, and his wife was really happy about that.
And then they
Now
had the
he,
dinner scene when they go back, and it's a silent dinner of him going back. That's
yeah,
kind of the last. That's the last, if I'm not mistaken, that's the
mhm,
last interaction of them talking and him going back to this one. I think.
yeah. And here like his wife is like making sense in a way,
For
like
sure.
for
For
sure, you
sure.
know, he's saying like, look, people half your age are moving up to colonel, and you're trying to impress the guy that literally stuck you in the basement to begin
Who
with.
you double crossed.
Right.
And he knows about the dirty shit. Like she's making some very, very
Watch.
bad points.
Oh yeah, and in a way he understands that, but it's like here he's not even following logic. He's just following what he wants, and it's
Even though
like
he did say, "Hey, look, they asked me to take the murders. I didn't take them." Kind
right.
of thing. I'm playing their game, kind of thing.
So
And
yeah,
1 hour in, we want to say, please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretap Truth. We appreciate all the love, all the support. All right, Jack, keep us going, bro. What were you saying?
yeah, so you like the friction in their marriage is definitely starting to open up with
Mm-hmm.
this. Um Later on, of course, we see that they're all just Freeman and Bunk are talking about how do we solve, like, we need Daniels on our side to help take the murders, and
Yep.
Bunk of course delivers one of his best lines here.
Hold on, before you get into it, hold on, hold on, hold on,
Oh
hold
yeah.
on. So, Herc and Carver are in the car, and they are talking. They find that Nick Sabaka
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
yep. They find that Nick Zabaka is who's attached to the car as
Hmm.
they're doing surveillance. They see him pull up, and they're like, let's get this license plate, let's follow it. So then they find out, okay, it's registered to Nick Zabaka. They're like, well, how
Right.
many Zabakas could it be? All right, so that is Nick's. That's Frank's something, some type of family member. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna use his fake informant. And Herc is telling Carver, bro, it's got to be you. You got that trustworthy look on your face. And then that transitions into this legendary scene that you about to talk about, Zach.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, and we were gonna talk about the Herc and Carver stuff later. With the Cedric plot line, it's like um Bunk and Moreland like realize, hey, we need Daniels on our side to help us with these murders. We're not going to get them by ourselves.
Nope.
And said Bunk makes a great point of like, look, Freeman Daniels looks up to you. He'll listen to you because you have this like wise sage kind of. He's very profound when he speaks. He's like a guy that you just want to listen to, that you respect,
Yep.
and he has his ear. And he says like, "Look, we all have a role to play,
And what's
and
your role? Bunk.
I'm just a humble motherfucker with a big dick." And one of my favorite lines that I quote more often than I should have, and he's right. And Bunk clocked it right away because later on we see that Freeman and Daniels are talking, and Freeman essentially like, guilt trips him and
He
says like,
does.
"Look, you could avoid the murders, but what does that say about how you're going to feel about this? Is that really how you want to look back
You're like,
on your?"
motherfucker, you don't get out of my damn office with that guilt trip shit. What the fuck? You're not my
He
fucking
totally
boss.
manipulated him, like he
What
played him
the
like a
fuck?
fiddle. It was great.
Man, what? He said you got to look at how you want to live your day to day. Like,
Oh
bitch,
yeah,
you don't get
and
out of
just
my
walked
office.
out like that. Oh, he played him
What
like
you
a
talking
fiddle,
about?
dude. He
Man,
completely Daniels completely folded as soon as he
he
said
did. Nah,
that.
he definitely did. He definitely did. He definitely he put him in a corner, put it on him, and Daniels folded. Like he
Yeah.
really did. He really did.
And to be honest, I kind of think a little bit like Daniels always believed that too, that he was like, that he really does care about it, but he's thinking about his own career. Freeman makes a point like, look, those women really died horribly. Like,
He
don't you
did.
actually want to solve this case? Like, fuck Burrell
Facts.
and everyone else. Like, these people like did horrible shit to these women, and it's our job to solve the case. And it's like, I get where Freeman's coming from because he is, it takes a lot of brass to be able to say that to your boss of like saying,
Yep.
like, don't be a fucking sellout, like actually be a real police officer. and and to Daniel's credit, it's like that really stuck with him. to here's that's the thing, and it's similar to what I was saying earlier when McNulty calls out Brianna. Sometimes you really need somebody else to tell you what you're already thinking for it to actually register. You know, when somebody actually calls you out on your shit, it kind of hits differently because it's like, oh, I thought I was only thinking this, you know. But if you're also thinking it, maybe that's the truth. Maybe that's how I should act, you know. And so Daniels goes back to Rawls and he says, like, I'll take it, but no bullshit. What I ask, you give me.
I ask for I get.
And then Rawls was like, all right, no bullshit. And then it shot ends with Rawls and he was like saying like, oh, I guess he wasn't that smart after all. I think that's what he was like thinking. He's like, okay, I guess I kind
Like
of
I got him. He started
I got
smiling
him.
and shit. He was like,
Yeah,
yes.
fucking worked out for my case, you know. So that's how they kind of bring them back together. Um, Now, I do also we should also talk before we get in you know what, actually no. What I want to talk about now is the because we mentioned before the introduction of our only non-human character besides the duck of Fuzzy Dunlop.
Mm-hmm.
Uh you know, what's this Herc and Carver are in this kind of like a surveillance store, almost like a pawn shop kind of thing.
I don't know if it's a surveillance store or
His name is Head. Dickhead.
dickhead. I love that. I love that little scene
This
with them.
this
Yeah.
this episode is hilarious because it really is just like watching Beavis and Butthead,
Yep.
which Carver does call Herc Beavis later on.
And
Um,
you know what too? I meant to ask y'all this earlier. This is something that I wish happened in The Wire. I feel like I wish more people would have known that Stringer was responsible for D'Angelo's death. Like, I don't know where it could have fed at in the story, like in terms of adding another layer to what is perfect. Season 3 is perfect, but just I don't know. I just wish like more people knew, like, damn, Stringer, it was you were responsible. Like, I don't know. I wish there
yeah,
was just something. I wish there was just some type of other scenes where somebody else other than Avon knew about
right.
him being responsible. Like,
You want him to face justice, and it's
nah,
like that. It's
not
kind of
even
puts you in the perspective of McNulty because
justice,
it's like he
maybe.
never
I
got
don't know. I don't know. I just wanted somebody else to know, like, that it
right.
was Stringer. Like, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know
no,
how
I
it would have
agree.
affected anything, but I don't know. I think for my own selfish asks of the show, I would just like to have seen somebody be like, I don't know who it would have even mattered to other than Brianna. Honestly, though, now we say maybe that's why they didn't include it because who else gives a fuck? Nobody gives a fuck. Like,
No, I know that's one of the things that it's like, yeah, it doesn't give you like the closure, but it almost makes sense because it's like sometimes bad people just get away with doing bad things, and
yeah,
that's kind of what happens. And he never really. I mean, the consequences are he does get shot to death by two of his
right.
enemies. But yeah, you're like, "Ah, I wish for D'Angelo's sake, you know. With
Justice
Hurting,
for D'Angelo.
right? Hashtag justice for D'Angelo. Uh, Hertz and Carver are looking at these like different bugs that they're trying to get, and like microphones, you know, that they can put in somewhere else. Uh,
1,500, Jesse. 1,500.
that seemed reasonable. I don't know why they're like, oh my, that seemed perfectly reasonable for like a state of the art microphone they could hide somewhere. That seemed
But
like actually a pretty good deal. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw
but
the
like Jack, why the fuck don't they have equipment in the
I was gonna say,
VPD? Like,
why do they have to come out of
what
pocket
the
for this?
fuck is that?
Well, that's the thing though, because they're constantly saying like they don't want you know, they want it to be Burrell and Rawls don't want to spend money on them. What surprised me was seeing how they couldn't afford it because it was like you don't have like 1,500 between the two of you. Like, what the fuck's your problem?
Yeah,
Or like when they
Put
didn't
my
have
credit card max to the max, baby.
I was kind of thinking that too. I was like, why can't you guys just put 750 together? I don't know.
Well,
right, yeah, two
it'd have been
grown men in their
625.
30s.
It'd have been 625 because
That
they,
was
they
like
they
a
knocked it down. He said 1250 with the discount.
That was like a
Yeah,
line from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Sweet D is like, how do three grown men in their 30s not have $700 between them? And it's like you guys can't afford it, but they can't afford the bug. The price seemed perfectly reasonable to me,
Doesn't
and
really
I
okay.
get why they can't because the Burrell and Rawls and Valchek don't want them
They don't
using
want to
as much
spend money.
resources, so it's like fuck it. But they have to go and get this bug, but instead the shop owner was really nice and let them take it
He
out for a
was.
test run,
Yep.
which I was like, dude, what are you doing? As like I wouldn't have done that personally. Um, this guy's
I,
gonna
I will
obviously.
say this though, like with law enforcement, when I did my brief stint at 911 operator, our
Mhm.
windows were like 5 windows behind. Like, we're like, I'm like, why are these computers so slow and so like?
Yeah. Oh, dude, because it makes
Terrible.
sense because they don't want to spend that money. And I think it does add to their character that they can't afford it because it just adds to like her being a dunderhead. You know what I mean? It's like they're kind of like the comic relief because of how incompetent they are. And they get this bug, and they're in a van. And one note I took here was how Herc says like Carver like Valchek won't let you give his spy van, and Carver's like he won't let me see it. And of course, we know that that's the van that was stolen by.
The missing van. Yeah, he's like, I never seen that thing. That fucking van it's a thing. Like, where the fuck is this damn van at?
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they have the idea. Herc has the idea of putting the mic in a tennis ball, and like kind of sewing it up. I guess.
yeah.
Um, Later on, they're on the rooftop and they're listening to Frog talk to Nikki Sabatka.
And I ain't gonna
And
lie, y'all. I love Frog's outfits, y'all. I ain't
yeah.
even gonna lie, man. I love Frog, man.
Oh,
I love Frog. I
Frog's
love
got
Frog.
swag.
He's funny as hell.
This
Oh,
is
he's
the
hilarious.
this is the outfit I was talking about. What is it? What name brand is it?
Echo.
Echo, right? And
Yeah.
Amanda Johnson said she thought it was Echo. It wasn't Echo.
No, it wasn't Echo.
So yeah.
It wasn't Echo. Because
All right.
he got an Echo hat on, Echo shirt, I think Echo sweatsuit. I don't know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shoes,
It's a whole Echo. Yeah.
But he Echo head to toe. Like, I got some what's funny about you catching that about the Echo stuff. I got these bright ass red Echo sweatpants. I got like a few years ago. I think we were going somewhere. It was like a get together, and I spilled something on my pants, so we stopped, and I got when they just bought some sweats. It's these bright ass red Echo sweats. My wife makes jokes about them all of the time. So to
Mhm.
see Frog in this Echo outfit head to toe it was really funny. It was really funny.
Oh yeah, and Frog's talking to Nikki, of course, doing a deal, and I love the way this scene is shot too,
Yep.
because Frog takes the tennis ball that's sat next to him, he starts bouncing it around, and the camera zooms in on Carver's face, and the
He
expression
like,
is like, "Oh fuck," and it's just like it's a great way of capturing like, "Oh shit," they're so nervous because they realize like what they just did, and he just takes the ball and fucking throws it
toss it.
and Carver just runs the fuck out. And
That's such a great shot scene. Like,
oh yeah,
I'll be wondering like how the fuck did they shoot that like that? Like it's like, damn, how did they get it lined up so perfect? Like it's just
Mhm.
a beautifully shot scene. Like,
Yeah.
it's a great scene. That's a great
Their
visual
expressions
scene.
are great, and he runs into like essentially oncoming traffic. He's like people are like yelling at him, like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But he's like, and then the way it's shot too is like you see this van coming, and it kind of like cuts back to Carver, and as soon as the van runs over, they're just like, "Ah, fuck!"
Man,
And
that man damn near would have laid down in front of that tennis ball the way he was running out there to stop it from to save that money. He was not
he
playing
was about
about
to get hit by
touching
a
that tennis
truck
ball.
to save this fucking money.
What?
Yeah, dude. And they realize, oh shit, we're fucked. And this kind of starts like a series of plot lines throughout the show where Herc just does something that screws himself over and has to deal with the aftermath afterwards. Later on, Herc and Carver figure out that Nick Sabaka is the one that's like kind of the supplier to Frog, right?
Mhm.
They
Yep.
go to his address. Now, I want to ask you, how did they figure that out exactly?
They had the VIN and they had the license plate.
That makes sense. And they go to his house, and he's like, the owner is Nicholas Sabatka, and Carver is hilarious because he's just like, "Hey,
Don't
Beavis,"
that mean something to you,
like,
Beavis?
"Duh," and he's like, "Maybe it's really." He's like, "How many fucking Sabatkas?" He even says, even in Polish town. I'm not gonna say the word, but he says like, "How many fucking Sabatkas are there?" It's like, "Yeah, well, it's funny
And
because it's like,
another thing too, y'all, I loved when Frog and Nick were first talking in this episode.
oh yeah,
One, because of the old grandma lady who's kind of looking at them, kind of like, ew, y'all are dealing drugs. Like
yeah,
I love her expression, and then I love that Nick said to Frog, "Hey, Frog, bro, you're white, bro. Like,
you happen to be white."
you white,
It's just-
bro. Like, let me just, you've been white, okay?
right.
Like, Like it is just how he said. What did he say? I'm also white. Locust Point IB local 47 white. That
Mhm.
is such a legendary dialogue from him. Like it just showed that Nick was trying to do the right thing. He was taking himself out of the picture in terms of okay, I'm gonna deal drugs, but I'm not gonna be on the corner. And like another question I wanted to pose to y'all, like, how long did Nick think he was gonna play Kingpin? Like kind of thing. I guess he was thinking he was never gonna get caught, like, but when he was talking to his girl about the new apartments and stuff like that, he's like, oh yeah, no, this shit gonna be steady.
Oh yeah.
How long you thought that shit was gonna last, bro? Like I guess
Well, maybe he didn't only think money from there, but he was also getting money from the
dots.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think he was thinking like this is a career. I think he was like this is just a temporary thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that
But,
scene that you're referencing, that's like one of the first scenes of the show, the
yeah.
episode is Frog talking to Nick, and he's
Mhm.
basically explaining like why he isn't able to sell off the package and like how difficult it is for them to why he's not making the money to give back to Nick and Ziggy. And Nick is essentially like, I don't care about your excuses. Like, you owe us this money. You owe Ziggy money.
Yeah.
And he's like, you
And
need to get this to me immediately.
I think what happened was Nick, what did Frog say? Whoever Michi is, because Frog said, are these the same dimes that you had Michi out here slinging? So I guess at first, to test his product, I guess Nick went to whoever Michi is, whoever this mysterious person we don't see on camera, and maybe sold him a little bit and wanted to see how it would do. And I guess it did good. And Frog was like, this is the same shit you had out here last week? Oh, damn. Michi sold out quick. So I guess he got to see like, okay, well, he does have some good quality product. And Nick was like, well, shit, pay me what you owe Zig and give me another 500 and I'll let you work the package.
Yeah.
But no bullshit, because I'm not Ziggy, you're not just gonna get over on me with no bullshit. Like,
And that's a great point because it's like you notice the difference between how they act, right? When we see Ziggy going up to Frog in the previous episode, he's getting right in his face. He's trying to assert dominance and being like, money better be right. And he has to like overexert himself. Whereas here, Nikki's just sitting on the stoop, very calm, very not like very relaxed, very calm posture, and is not like yelling or anything. He just kind of has this.
He had to tell Frog, hey, come here.
And Frog's hesitant. He's like, why do I have to come here? Because he
What
has
you
this
need
power.
for, right? Yeah.
And honestly, unlike Ziggy, like Frog realizes like Nick could actually like beat the shit out of him. So like, he's
he ain't soft around the edges kind of
Well,
thing.
it's also that Nick is pretty confident in who he is, right?
Yes.
He's like, I'm IV40 white. I don't work with no contract. I don't listen to bullshit excuses. I'm not gonna try to be wigger with you so you can accept me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not your friend here.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
Exactly, y'all.
If you wanna sell this package, you give me the money. If you don't want it, I'll have somebody else do it.
Yeah, the person whoever Michi was, y'all, whoever that mysterious person was who Frog asked him about. So Frog got to see like, oh, well, Nico, I love when they say Nico. Nico, he got some good shit there. All right, yeah, all right. It just makes sense. Let me just do what he's saying.
Oh yeah,
I love that scene. And the grandma, she like,
yeah.
Ew.
Nikki looks around and the grandma and Nick realizes like, oh, I'm being looked at a certain way. And he doesn't want to be doing this stuff. He's not like, oh, he doesn't want to be a gangster or a drug dealer. He's doing this because he needs the money.
I personally think they should have just took the cash from the Greeks. Like, I don't know I don't know what I can't remember when we did the numbers. I can't remember what they were offering him in terms of the cash. But because it was cash, it was half in cash, half in dope, or all in cash. Like, I think he could have just took the cash. Like, I don't know what that number was. I can't remember. But
well, also the thing is, Nikki, like, he doesn't want this, but he also like he realizes like this is. I think what it is ego, right? I think that's a recurring theme throughout the season is people's egos damage their potential. With Frank Sobotka and Valchek, it's all about asserting themselves, even if it doesn't logically make sense.
For both of them, Jack. For both of them. Are you talking about
same with Ziggy too?
Yeah, it's definitely ego. I saw something in the groups about season 2 and how just exactly what you just mentioned, bro. about the egos of Frank and the egos of Valchek. All of this over a motherfucking window. Like,
it's a pissing contest. That's all it is. It's just like or dick measuring kind of whatever you want to call it. It's all it's about when it comes. It's just two
who
guys.
gets the first window at the church? Like,
Yeah. Well, actually, somebody said it's two Polish guys pissing on each other's legs. Like that's really what it comes down to.
you talk
And
about ego. I mean, damn. Like,
yeah. Well, you see that later on when we go to Ziggy, right? Because Nick hands him the cash that he made.
go ahead, Jesse, because Jack is about to say something that I
think-
had a great point about. So hold your thought, Jack. What you about to say, Jesse?
Go ahead, Jack. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, so later on,
go ahead, Jesse.
Nick,
I want you to go because what we about to touch on is it's multi-layered.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I think the fight over the stained glass window is a little overstated on season 2. That it all started over a stained glass window because that is where Valchek started to be for Frank.
Right.
But it would have still circled back to him with the 13 dead girls.
Yeah, but not
They
from
still would
Valchek.
have. Huh?
Well, I guess the detail
would have still led to Frank Sobotka because it would have still came off the docks. The 13 dead girls were still found on the docks.
Right.
So they would have still
right.
they would have still investigated the docks.
But the only thing is
the stained glass window just made everything.
If they weren't already looking at Frank, I'm trying to piece it together. So like the detail for Frank was put together by Valchek over the window. Okay, so they were already looking into Frank. Who was over the investigation before they brought Beatty and them in to work with the detail? It was
keep talking real quick because I'm just going to take a piss real quick.
All right. It was, and I don't forget your thought too, Jack. I need you to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So
Bunk and Lester.
Bunk and Lester, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bunk and Lester got the 13 girls
from homicide, right? And they were
it was Ray Cole first. Ray Cole,
right. So it's
shout
homicide.
out to Robert Colesberry too. We didn't give you enough credit last time. You were a big.
We got something coming for you, Robert. Yeah, rest your soul too. So it was a homicide investigation, right, bro? And then they had Beatty, right? So if not for the detail, how would they have connected? I guess if they didn't have the detail already
investigated the docs anyway. They would have found out who Frank Sobotka is. It just so happened that they're like, we're working on Frank already. You know?
Yeah, you're right. So okay.
It would have been a little longer, but
because it wouldn't have been a full detail. It would have just been a homicide unit kind of. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It might have taken a lot longer, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of just feel like everybody says over a stained glass window, which is like, yes, partially true, but it's more because of the 13 bodies found.
You know what, though, too, bro? And something that I never, it's so crazy you say this, because this is something that I never noticed all of these years of watching The Wire, watching season 2. Like, when they bring, and I took this note down because I never noticed it until I did the recap the other day. When they bring Kima and Prez and they're doing the surveillance, you know, this is unbeknownst to Daniels, you know. Like, they're doing this surveillance on the murder investigation, and Daniels doesn't know about it, kind of thing. He don't even know that they're really doing the surveillance yet. You know, he don't even know what's going on. He don't know until Lester tells him, like, look, we got a pattern. We've been doing surveillance. You need to take these murders, kind of thing. Daniels don't even know. So it's like, if there wasn't a detail, how would they have ran surveillance? It'd have just been Lester, Bunk, and Beatty, I guess, doing surveillance, I guess. Like, they wouldn't have had the bodies to do what they were doing, I guess, kind of thing. But you're right, though. They knew it eventually probably would have led to them, but the details of doing a surveillance investigation, I don't know if they had the bodies to do it.
It made stuff easier. But you know, I don't know. When people say it all started over a stained glass window, like, yes, but it mainly started because of 13 dead girls.
Right.
No, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
And what I was about to get into, Jack, was like you mentioned about Nick and Ziggy, right?
Yeah.
So Ziggy throwing that money out the window, right?
Well, that's a different episode.
That's not this episode?
No, that's a
It's
different
not this
episode.
episode? Okay, well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. So him throwing that money out of the window, just because it's going to make sense. So,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Nick like, he did so much. And the reason why it's going to make sense is because when they're doing the paternity stuff this episode, you know, and Nick comes, he's consoling Ziggy. He brings him the money, you know, and Ziggy's like, man, this packages were my thing, Nick, you know, and damn if you didn't do that better, you know. But
that's what he says here, yeah, in the bar.
This episode, right. So Nikki is doing all this stuff. I'm doing all the drug stuff. You don't got to do anything, Ziggy. I'm coming to bring you money. Okay, you got shit going on in the hood with, you know, big, tall, black, scary drug dealers. I'm going into the hood to try to, you know, help. I'm going in here with Sergey to try to help you. You know, I bring you this money. In the next episode, you throw it out the window. It's always like in certain shows, whether it be Breaking Bad or Power for that matter, like there's a character who does more for the other, and the other does not reciprocate that same type of energy, like kind of thing. Like, you know, like Jesse and Walt, like I get it, you know, they had their issues and stuff like that, but Walt did a lot for Jesse. Like he did a whole lot for Jesse. He protected Jesse. He saved Jesse's life, you know, like kind of thing. He did a lot for Jesse. So it's always like that one character. And in Power, I know y'all haven't seen Power all the way through, but like Ghost and Tommy, Ghost saved Tommy's life so many times, like so many times. And the cartel boss will come to Ghost and be like, hey, look, you need to get rid of Tommy. And Ghost will be like, no, I'm not doing it. But when he brought it to Tommy and was like, hey, I need you to kill Ghost, Tommy was like, all right, let me figure out how to do it. You know, and it's like, well, damn, you know, and I just think about just relating that to Nick and Ziggy. Like, it's like, damn, Nick did, even with the paternity stuff, he the one they called a lawyer, like, and trying to console him. It's like he really cared for Ziggy, bro. Like, he really did. And Ziggy was just, I don't know, for him to just kind of spit in Nick's face with the money in that next episode, like, I don't know. Like, I ain't really pieced together everything that Nick did for Ziggy until I was doing our recap. And then it made me think about the next episode and think about all these other shows. But like Nick did so much for Ziggy. Like he loves Ziggy. He loves Ziggy. Like
it's infuriating to watch. It really is, because it's like it's frustrating, because you're right. Nick, he goes out of his way to protect his little cousin. And it's like here, and by the way, just for the audience, we will be going later than we normally do this episode, but that's okay. So first episode of the year. Okay, who cares? Yeah, it is infuriating, and I understand a little bit where Ziggy's coming from, right? Because it's like he hasn't found his purpose. He hasn't found like what he's good at. He could have been like, he's very smart with computers. He could have done like Johnny 50 does. He wants to be something that he's not. He wants to be like a cool drug dealing gangster, but he's just not that. And he's not able to be like a dock worker. He wants to figure out his purpose. So it's frustrated that his cousin is better at doing this thing that he wants to do.
And you know what, too, Jack? When they got the package from the Greeks and they were like half in cash, half in dope, when they give the okay and dope, Ziggy does this. Yes, got the dope. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. And Nick is like, whoa, bro, slow down, bro. I got this. You know, I don't need your help, bro. Calm down.
Well, Nick is better at just like not letting his emotions go through. Nick has like a stone face, which makes him a better at this business, whereas like Ziggy's impulsive and emotional, and he's kind of like unhinged on a lot of ways, and he doesn't respond logically, unlike Nick. And the letter say that Maui pulls a prank on him, saying he impregnated this girl. Ziggy just responds like, "Oh my God, it's our." Whereas Nick actually was like, "Wait a second, let me look at this for a second." You know, that's the difference between those characters. Nick
how you not even think? Ziggy wasn't even thinking. Like
the lawyer's name is Shyster, and Shyster. Shyster, by definition, means a sleazy lawyer. Like, it's like saying, it's so stupid that when he calls him, the Maui's like Shyster. Like, it's like, how did you not put that together? That
just playing that song, y'all. Nick, the looks that Nick is giving him when they keep replaying that song, he's so fucking confused.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What? Like, he's so confused about why they keep playing this fucking song. He's like,
You know what's frustrating about Ziggy is he should have just like taken it as like, all right, you got me. Like if Ziggy had just taken it as like, all right, you got me, like let's all hang out, whatever, like and taking it as like a good natured prank instead of like taking it so fucking infuriating. Like if somebody pulled a prank on me like that, I'd be like, all right, that's kind of funny, right? But instead of doing that, he just is like, I'm gonna fucking kick this guy's ass. And
and
it's like
again,
it's hard watching Ziggy because it's like watching a train wreck and you
that's
can't
exactly what it is. A
stop.
crash out. He was a crash out from the first introduction when they couldn't find that damn container. You know, he told what did he tell the customer? I'm gonna find it for you if you just shut the fuck up. That is no way to talk to the customer. Okay, let me just tell you.
Crazy.
That much. Okay.
Yeah, he's got no filter.
Customer service, you don't get to talk to the customer like that too much. Like,
yeah, dude, it's crazy the way he talks to him, and then so later on, he's just like he sees Maui and he's just like fuming. He's like, gonna fucking kick their ass. And the other dock workers are talking to him, and they're like, they're winding him up. They're like, oh, he kicked this guy's ass. You could fucking take him. He's a pussy. Blah blah blah. And it's like, it's hard watching Ziggy because it's like you want to just, as the audience, you want to intervene and save the character.
Ziggy, no, Ziggy, no.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck, all right, and yeah, that's the tragic thing about him is that if he had like more self control, like or had less of had was less impulsive, he could have been more successful.
Yeah. And seeing him with the scene with Nick, y'all, that's what really kind of got the heartstrings tugging. When I seen him in this scene when they were doing the stuff in the bar, I was like, oh fucking Ziggy.
Yeah.
Ziggy. And man, it was so now that we're recapping this after his transition, he's a fucking phenomenal actor. Like it's the facial expressions are like, man, it's perfect. He added so much to the character. Even when he was looking at Nick, he was like, like the facial expressions, like, man, rest his soul, man.
Yeah. Jack, yeah, you're right, Leland. I never caught on the shyster. That's pretty hysterical, actually.
Me neither.
Yeah, shyster just means a sleaze.
It never even registered.
Let's back that up too. Time out. Because you're right, Jesse. Me neither. So is that what's actually on the paper, or is that just how Maui answered the phone?
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. That might not been on the paper. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say on the paper, right? We don't get to see it, but no way.
That's pretty funny.
But even when Maui said shyster, I didn't even think.
Yeah, like at the same time though, even if it did say attorney shyster law office, Z wouldn't have caught that.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I love that scene.
Also, Nick explains it like, look, they're not going to send you something in the mail like that. They'll have like a process server.
Subpoenas come to you by a person. They got to put it in your hand.
Yeah. It was a pretty good. It was a pretty good joke though.
Oh yeah, it's a hilarious.
Top tier joke, but right up there with Ziggy putting his whole dick on Buddy's computer too, though. That's
they should have just said it was like, all right, like we're one. You know what it should have been like? All right, you got me, I got you. Like that's the end of it. You know what I mean?
They're
like
trying to one up each other.
Right. Even though Chrissy's the girl or Prissy.
The one that Nick is with on the thing. Yeah.
Even though Prissy, I was gonna say, even though Prissy's been with the whole doc, she is a sweet girl.
She's a sweetie pie. Just a little promiscuous.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
Because even Nick sleeps with her again. He wake up in bed with her.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like she's there grieving Ziggy with Nick, right?
Right.
She seems like a sweet person.
She is sweet. Nah, she is sweet.
Yeah, dude. And she's doing a service. These dock workers have a tough day. They need a little release at the end of it. I mean, who else is gonna like sleep with Johnny 50? Sorry, no offense. But anyway, let's move on. I don't want we'll cut that part out. I talk too much.
That's a friend of the show.
I'm sorry. I talked without thinking sometimes. My bad. We'll cut that part out. But anyway, so Bunk has convinced BD Russell to like play like play it as if the case is done, right? She wants to make them think like, oh no, we tried and we got a dead end, right? So she goes through there, and her and Frank Sabaka are about to have like they're like back to having like their fun little conversations and getting along, and she tells like Frank like, all right, I guess the case is folded, and then as she's driving away, you see like she's like smirking a little bit, like she convinced him, they
Mm-hmm.
got what they needed to.
She convinced him for a second, but Frank is pretty smart. He catches
Nah,
on later on.
Frank,
Yeah.
Frank catching on to them in their shit gives another layer to him as a character. Like, I absolutely love him catching what the fuck is going on. Like, hold up, wait a minute, something is not right here. Hold on now. Like, we'll get into that in the next couple episodes. But I absolutely love him being up on shit. Like, hold on now. This
Mhm.
not making sense right here. Like, hold on now. I
It's a
absolutely
little, it's a little reminiscent of Avon in season 1 when he's like, "Shit doesn't make sense.
it don't make
Pull you
sense, bro.
over."
It's you're right. Damn, that's a fucking Jesse. That's a good catch right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Cause when
I'm
he's
on
talking to
fire today.
Horseface, when he's talking to Horseface, he's like, why the fuck haven't they cut my cell phone off yet? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I'm flagged? What is that? Like,
Frank's very smart with that. He's very intuitive. He's not like, he's not just a dumb guy that works at docks.
he's not, man. And you know what, Jack? When we first started this journey, bro, you mentioned Frank Zapata as your top 3 characters. Like,
Yeah,
and as we break down, I don't know if he's my top 3, but I absolutely love his character.
Yeah.
Like, he is, other than him being kind of like a absentee father, if you will, to Ziggy, I love his character and his morals, what he stood for. Even when he's talking to the politician, and he's kind of like, I want you to do your fucking job and make sure these motherfucking ships get dredged. And then right after they say that, it shows this big ass ship on the water. This is a beautiful transition. I love it. But all he wanted was for people to work. He just wanted his guys to have work. He's going to be able to provide for his guys and their families. Like, that's why, to me, I love Frank Zapata.
Oh yeah, and actually we'll talk about both these storylines because their storyline and the Beatty and Bunk storyline sort of converge here. One of the best scenes in this episode is actually kind of the saddest, especially with what's going on today with AI. That's kind of what I thought about with this scene where
1,000%, yeah.
Frank is and the other dock workers are kind of like in this office where they're giving this presentation by some guy who's trying to sell this equipment that'll make their jobs safer, will reduce casualties. And Frank says, maybe it wasn't. Oh yeah, Frank says, "Can't get hurt if you ain't working."
You ain't working that.
And it's showing they're all like so annoyed by everything because it's like these are the machines that are going to take our jobs, and the business owners don't give a fuck about their employees.
Nope.
And it's one of the most like chilling things because in the 23 years since the season has premiered, not much has changed in terms of how business owners don't give a shit about their employees and are constantly trying to save a quick buck at the expense of people's lives. And that scene got me thinking a lot about like AI and the threats that it poses to a lot of employment.
For sure. For sure.
And
it's parallel. It's parallel. It's not,
yeah, absolutely, man. And like, so Frank really wants to get this grain pier built, right? He wants the canal built and the grain pier, and he feels like he has a duty to serve this work, right? I said duty. And so he has this meeting with, what's the character's name again?
Brucey DiBiago.
Yes. No. Earlier on, the other dock worker, where he's saying like,
"Oh, Nat,
right? Okay, yeah. He's telling Nat, he's like, look, I need another year as president of the.
Oh yeah, facts.
And he's saying, I need to just get this job done. And Nat's saying like, we had an agreement, you're kind of going back on your promise. You said you just serve a year, then it would be my turn to lead the union. And and we're talking about race here. They have a little like conversation.
He says, "Excuse my French, we all niggers." And then he said, well, excuse my French, we all Polacks. Fuck you mean?
Black, white, what's the difference? We're all
right,
getting screwed over here.
right. And
And
honestly, y'all, Frank was not even if they granted it, right? They're like, all right, we'll let you run another year. When that year's up, Frank would have pulled the same shit. He didn't never. Where was he gonna go? He was gonna go home. He ain't never want to not be the head of the Docs. He wasn't gonna give
I
up
don't
his
think
seat.
Frank ever wanted to give up that spot.
Come
no,
on, Jesse.
Yeah.
that's how it starts. You give him
And
a
he couldn't
year.
have. Like he if as soon as he gives up that spot, they're gonna get into the corruption he was
Exactly. You'd have had to have some type of story for. All right, so I'm taking over for you, Frank. All right, what you been into? How you been raising this money for everybody? What we been doing? What you been? Oh well, got an illegal trafficking.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. What would have
Exactly,
happened
bro.
if Frank had to give up that spot?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. He wasn't, and I never thought about that until I'm doing a recap for us. I'm like, bro, he was never going. He wasn't gonna give up that spot. Like that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah,
that wasn't gonna happen like that.
yeah, man, and he keeps, but like he feels like he has a purpose. And Frank is what's great about him is how you just feel all this pressure coming at him from all these different angles, not just with his threats to his position and work, but also now you have this added pressure from law enforcement.
Yep.
He's stressed the fuck out
He's feeling
constantly.
it, bro.
The only way I'm sorry I'm harping on this, but I'm just thinking about it. The only way that he could keep that spot is if Nikki moves into middle manage. If Nikki gets into a full-time position and runs for that spot, and you somehow get Nikki elected,
And then drops out and gives Frank the spot. Yeah.
Something like that.
No, but Nikki could be the head. I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
He would know he would know
the
what comes with
corruption.
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then Frank talks to that guy DiBiago, and what a prick this character is for a very small scene. Great acting because you really just fucking hate this smug prick.
You really do. Like
he talks about like he asked where his son Jason goes. He says he goes to Princeton. He says, What is he gonna do?" He says, "Whatever the fuck he
that's what he
wants."
wants to.
And as soon as he says that, we're like, "Oh fuck you, dude! You fucking elitist scumbag piece of shit." You know what I mean? You're just like, you feel so frustrated. And then they talk about Frank talks about how when they were a kid they used to drink Tang.
Dang, come on
You
with it.
know, and I remember the Tang commercials too when there was like an orangutan. But he says like, we drank because we all want to be astronauts. He's like, I feel like your son's gonna grow up to squeeze a quick buck just like his old kid. He's
You're
like,
out of line here, Frank.
That's what I was just about to say, man. He definitely his point was felt, and I get he's angry, but you can't talk about people's kids. That's like
that crossed the line. But
that's a line. That's a line crosser when you start bringing people's kids into it.
I get where he's coming from, but like, because he says like, this guy, your whole job is to fucking help me out here, and then Frank is like, you're not even doing your job, so he gets out this money, and he like starts to take it. He grabs his fucking arm.
He grabbed the fuck out of him, Jack.
And he's like, "No, I want the fucking canal and the grain pier." And
Very
like, all right, Frank.
esque,
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Pollock thing, that scowl, like.
He throws the darts and fucking breaks them.
Who is that? Who is that on the dartboard, y'all? Do y'all know?
I'm not sure.
No? Okay. I have to look it up there. I thought maybe y'all would know.
Yeah. By the way, Pollock's a slur. Just letting you. Yeah. You're not supposed to say.
No.
Yeah. But so he throws that, and then he like storms out, and he's like fucking just furious, and later on we see his leadership come into question when Ziggy's like fuming. They found out that like there was an accident. New Charles got crushed by the crate. Oh, dude, that fucking sucks. And that's where the line comes, the main line of the episode comes in, where
guys, let me give me 1 second. After I went on Reddit for the person on the dartboard that Frank is throwing darts at. The person in the photo, damn, the fucking wire is so detailed, bro. Leland, that's a good question. The man in the photograph of Sobotka's dartboard is one of the most hated figures in Baltimore history, Robert Isry, the Baltimore Colts owner, who used the cover of Darkness one night to spirit the team to its new home in Indianapolis. That is crazy. That is so.
You know what?
That he's such a Ravens fan. Oh my god,
Right.
the Wire is so fucking good, man. I
Well,
love
you know
it.
what else? They
Oh
mentioned
shit!
Chuck Thompson earlier. I forget that they mentioned Chuck Thompson in an episode in a reference earlier, who was the announcer for the Orioles and the Baltimore Colts for like the longest time. I mean, they're it's a They those are
The
like
Wa-
they have the deep cuts, man.
the Wire is so fucking genius. Yo, Leland, that's a great
Damn.
question. Who is that on the dartboard?
I
I
don't
was
know who
wondering
I
that
thought
too.
he could have been. I thought it was like I don't know. I don't even know
And
what
I
my
liked how
thought
they got
was.
somebody kind of obscure that don't like it would have been like a worse show would have had like a picture of like George W. Bush or whatever, right? But it's like, no, let's make it
Man,
very
that
specific
is.
and
Whoo,
niche. You know,
whoo,
let's make it something only
that's
Baltimore
deep.
people know. And I
Clip
like
that.
that.
Clip that. Clip this.
Yeah. Um yeah, so when they go and they find out New Charles was crushed by that giant crate, uh they're all look at that's when the line from Horseface Bakusa comes in. He says like, don't worry, you're still on the clock, because it's like,
Have him take a
okay, well,
cigarette. Give him a
all right,
cigarette.
well, I'm about to lose my fucking leg. And I like when he asks like, how's your leg? And Frank's like, what leg? He's like about to throw up.
Got to barf his lunch up.
But he's still trying to be like, oh, it's okay. Like, holy fucking shit. It's
As somebody
traumatizing to
that,
see
as
something like
somebody
that.
that had a terrible ankle injury 12 months ago, 13 months ago, I felt so bad watching that man's ankle under that thing. Like I was like, mine wasn't nearly like that, but I still got my ankles, obviously. But
Mm.
man, that shit looked crazy. It looked crazy. That's a hell of a scene.
Oh yeah, it's really, and it's tragic because it's like that's the job, man. It just shows you like this is what really could happen on the job on any given moment. It's like
Yeah,
it's a and so later on Frank and the other dock workers are outside the house, and it shows like they have a community, like they really care about each other. You know, he goes to his wife inside and hands him like a stack of cash,
yeah.
and outside Nat asks him like, "Hey, where'd you get the money from?" And he's like,
Can't even answer. He
"Can't
can't
even
even.
answer."
Can't even speak to it.
But yeah, it just shows like they really are connected. Like they have this sense of community with each other. You know, um, like they really look out for each other. Frank even looks out for Nikki earlier on, you know, because he talks to him. He's like, "You haven't been getting work," and he says, "Like, stay close." You know, he doesn't want him falling into the trap of
Right.
what Ziggy's doing. You know, yeah. So one of the one of my favorite scenes, actually, it might be my favorite scene of the whole episode, is because Beatty, Bunk, and Freeman are tracking how these crates go on the truck and how they go
Mm-hmm.
off, and so they get uh, Greg's and Presbaluski to help them out, and they do the surveillance of unloading the docks and watching how it goes. And that whole scene is so perfect because it's like it's step by step. And
Yep.
it's like it's just people doing their jobs, but it's so like thrilling, and you understand exactly what's happening as they're doing it. It's just like it's like it shows that like yeah, the guy obviously like I didn't even need to be told that Ed Burns used to be a cop, because it's like you just figure it's like the guy had to have this inside knowledge of how it works because it's so detailed. But the pacing is great because you see, okay, they're logging it off now. Greg's is radioing Freeman. Now they're
Yep.
talking about it's like you're following along what happens, you know. Um, and so they follow, and so BD says like, well, if it goes down this one lane, then it's good, but if it goes down the other, then
They're
it's
doing the dirt.
they're doing the dirt, and they finally this one is doing the dirt. So
Yep.
they track it to like this warehouse. Um, and they see it going in, and BD, I'm sorry, not BD, Greg's spots Sergey like talking to them as they're going into the warehouse, right? And they're like, "What are they unloading?" And they realize it's not women, right? That there's something else going on. Uh, Greg's and Presbaluski are also still following the prostitutes, the prostitution ring,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they
What
go
she
to
say to him? Grabbing the. We got about 10 minutes too, Jack.
oh yeah,
Um, she said, what she say to him, Jesse? Grabbing the ass press. You know.
yeah. They go, yeah, and like they're going into a hotel. I like with the little like scheme they have of like Greg's pretending she has to
Yep.
piss, and then like Presbo finding what floor they're on, and that'll of
Yep.
course lead to the next episode. Um, but yeah, like really like just detailed of seeing how they do their jobs, you know. And then the last thing we will talk about is McNulty and his wife, you know.
Mhm.
He's talking to his wife and again, it's kind of the same lighting as before, right?
Yep.
Their kids are playing. And so it's like even though they're divorced, they can still be like courteous with each other. They can
Yeah.
still
Oh
have
yeah.
a friendly relationship. Jimmy still wants more though. You know, he
Yeah.
wants to get back together. He wants to be the dad again, and his wife is still just like no, and you
That's
know.
that's really what he wanted all along was what he had with Beatty in season 4. You know,
Right.
he was trying to do that with the politician lady. You
But he
know,
wasn't ready to change with his ex-wife. He
right,
wanted to act like he was ready. Like we saw him lying to her on the date. We said
right. In
he's like, I
fact,
don't drink that much, and he was like twisted the night before. Like
Yeah.
fact,
with BD,
fact.
he actually like.
He changed. He changed
It's
with Beatty.
sad because you want him to work out, but you also understand like, he like we see from season 5, he was an animal, he couldn't control himself. And it's interesting
I
that
still don't. I don't know if I forgive BD or the show for taking him back. But that guy was a. I just thought he got way too easy in season
Season
5.
5, McNulty was out
Unhinged.
fucking.
yeah, that's the best word for it. He was unhinged for sure.
He was in every aspect of the word, like as a cop, as a husband slash boyfriend. Like he season 5 McNulty, man, that man is he was on some different shit.
Oh,
He
for
was on some
sure.
different shit, bro. He was on some different shit. Season 5, you got like season 5 McNulty, season 4 Herc, you know. Season 3, I'm trying to think who's the crash out from season 3. I don't know. I gotta think.
Bunny, really.
Season 2 is probably Ziggy, you know.
Yeah.
And season 1, who's the biggest crash out in season 1? I don't know. I had to think. I think about that. But yeah, season 5 McNulty, man.
Oh, for sure.
He legendary. He on some other shit in season 5.
And you notice like his conversation like with Elena at the end, he's not satisfied. And it's kind of similar to like Cedric's conversation with Marla at the end. He's
Yep.
not sad. And it's just like that's how the show ends is like the two it just shows
Yep.
like there's friction between the two couples and it kind of
Those are
leaves
three
you
very
on like
well.
a note of like like
And you know what, too, Jack? Just comparing them to those two ending stories as we finish the episode, like going into the next episode, it's like the relationships between McNulty and his ex, and then Daniels and Marla moving forward are all from the ending of this episode. You know,
huh.
like when they open the next episode and McNulty, which is one of my favorites. I don't know if I listed it as my top 10 cold open. I need to look at my list. I think I took that one off. I'm not sure, but I love that open. When he's drunk and deals with the waitress and all that. I love that open.
Oh
But he's
yeah,
calling Elena. He's
that's my
drunk.
favorite opening
Is
actually.
it really? Yeah, I wonder why. When he's calling, he's like, Elena, you gotta call me back, you know. So that just stems from them on the stoop, you know, and her saying, like, look, we can be cool, we can be cordial, but we're not gonna be together, you know. And then
Yeah.
Oh
Daniels and
yeah,
his
yeah. The next episode's opening definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
you
a
know, and then Daniels and his wife, them ending that episode with her walking away from him, and she's like, you know, the person I fell in love with, why I fell in love with you was your ambition. What happened to that person? You know, and then she
And
gets
that
up.
kind of pissed me off too, because it's like
It's
really
rough.
that's what you fell in love. Like it's
Yeah,
like when Cedric was saying like what I fell in love, like he was describing like real quality. He would it almost shows like she just cares about she wants
yeah,
him to
about
advance his
what
career.
he could be. But at the
Right.
same time, you know, it's a phrase that I've learned over the last 2-3 years. Don't expect you from somebody else. You know, just
Sure.
because
Good
he's
point.
being forthcoming and telling her, you know, hey, look, this is why I fell in love with you. I fell in love with you genuinely. You know, well, she's telling you, well, I fell in love with what I thought you could become. You know, that's just what it is, kind of thing. Like,
Hmm.
and I don't think reason why I didn't like Marlon is because in season 3, Cedric was there for her so much, and I was almost thinking to myself, like, well, bro, you didn't need to be. Like, you know how she acted in season 2, you ain't really need to be by her side as she's running for politics. I'm getting you want to play the face, but she treated you like shit in season 2, bro. Like you could have been
Yeah.
like, nah, fuck your aspirations. I ain't gonna be there for you. Find another lieutenant trophy husband for your political meetings, you know, kind of.
Right.
He could have did that, you know, because I'm not ambitious, you know. Nah, don't come to me now that I'm a major or you know, kind of shit. Like,
You
so,
can't handle me at my worst, right? Don't.
you
Yeah.
know, I pray that when you see me at my worst, you see worth in me, and she couldn't.
Yeah, and
You know?
that does make you like question her character too. You
Yeah,
know.
you know.
Um, they're very complicated, but yeah, man, great episode, and that's the conclusion, the first
Top tier.
episode of 2026.
Let's do it, Jack. Phenomenal breakdown, bro. We appreciate
Yeah.
all your insight, your insight, even during these recaps, bro. Y'all are quick to go find some shit mid episode, bro. I love that shit. Jesse, who you got for the top actors, bro?
I'm gonna say Idris Elba.
Yeah, I was gonna agree.
I like the snakiness of killing somebody and hugging their mom afterwards. So that only I could respect in a movie or TV show. Oh, but
Shit, cause fuck. Okay,
Yeah, no, I would agree. He is the standout character. This was kind of
for
like a
sure.
Stringer Bell episode. He
Nah,
was
for sure. I think any episode where McNulty is not, you know, like the main person of it, it kind of gets to you get to show all the other acting chops of some of the other actors. Because when it's McNulty, it's nothing else that you can really
and
take
I'm
the
not
eyes
sure.
off of when it's him. You know,
I'm not sure I ever gave Idris Elba the actor of the episode, which is kind of confusing to me because he's such a great actor.
he
I think
is,
I didn't like the character so much that I kind of like
and maybe,
That's a
but
sign of a good
punished him.
actor if he causes that emotion of like, you know,
Yeah,
I used to think that about like Meryl Streep because she played a character in Kramer versus Kramer. Was like, I fucking hate this
yeah,
character, and then I realized like, wow, that means she's a good actress because it's
she's
like if
yeah.
it
great.
causes you to fucking hate them, then they're doing their job.
Yeah,
Sure.
but some of the other episodes, like in terms of his, because you do that to show which actor or actress really stood out the most. He
Mm.
really stood out in this
Oh,
episode. You know,
shout
like
out to Sir Idris Elba now, right?
he got knighted.
He's
he got
knighted. All
knighted.
right.
Yeah. He
We're
told
in the
Biggie,
presence
"Get
of
on with it,
royalty.
motherfucker."
Yeah, no, top tier.
That's what he
Top.
said to King Charles when he was there. He's like, "Get on with it, motherfucker. I got places to be."
Well,
Okay. Do I have time to run down the shout outs real quick?
we got about 4 minutes here.
Donna Adrian Gibson, executive producer of the show.
Also, Miss Debbie Young too. Let's just give I love to Debbie Young. She's
Yes.
doing some stuff behind the scenes for us too. That's you know
The
blessings to Miss
woman
Debbie
who
Young.
shaped the wire. Shout out to Bob Spoor, who's been putting our content out on his Facebook page. We appreciate you, Bob. We see you.
Thank you, Bob.
Kurt at Ziggy_Duck that runs all the pieces matter. We appreciate you. Michael Kevin Darnall. I'm not sure what you got coming up, but you were one of our first guests. We appreciate you.
Awesome
Julito
guy.
McCullen.
Very nice dude.
Definitely. Julito McCullen sells sweaters on his Twitter. Alonzo Wilson has a charity that you can see underneath. Nakia Dillard has an acting class. My cousin, who's an actor, Gary Perez, might be a lecturer there soon. I connected them too.
Okay.
Jeffrey Pratt Gordon.
Jeffrey Pratt Gordon, who's be on the lookout for him. He's always on the prop department, right? And
Sure.
who am I missing?
You've got Miss Amanda Johnson, Amanda James Gallery is a 400 Gulfstream Boulevard in Delray Beach, Florida. Open Tuesday to Saturdays, 10 to 4. Miss Debbie Young, if you want to link with her directly, it is Linktree/DEBI Makeup. Okay, it'll take you right to her Linktree if you want to get in contact with her, as well as her Instagram. That's how you can reach out to her. I'm trying to think. We got everybody. Chris Clanton has a book out, The Law to Finessing Me. Okay, it's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble as well. Kamal Smith has a YouTube channel. It is DRAHCIR TV. So you can follow him on YouTube. We appreciate all of the love. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretap Truths. If you want to book us for any voiceover work or any commercial work, please feel free to contact us at wiretaptruths@gmail.com or contact us at 678-938-5398. We can be reached there. We appreciate all the love, all the support. We have officially surpassed, I want to say it's 127,000 views. So 127,000 views in about 6 months. We are just getting started. We will be releasing our top 10 cold opens over the next month or so. We'll also be releasing. We're gonna do a special tribute to the athlete that played Clay Davis. We just released our tribute to James Ransone. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming to you all. Some other concepts that we're floating, character analysis and stuff like that. So if you're a fan, we have created the greatest Wire podcast of all time. We call it the Amsterdam of Wire channels on YouTube. So feel free to tap in. It's a Wire fans paradise.
Hell yeah. All right, folks. See you soon.
Blessings, blessings. Y'all have a good one. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Wiretap Truths, man. We appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.